Okay, guys, we are live. So, for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I actually will not be your dungeon master today. Today, I am stepping out from behind the screen and taking the player's seat. Today we are playing a variant of the classic Arthurian RPG published by Chaosium, Pendragon. I actually don't have my copy of Pendragon at hand. I have my copy of Paladin. And taking us through this adventure of Viking glory will be our own. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's
Arlen
the
Walker.
book we're running out of.
So, Arlen, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you go ahead and tell us, or take the reins, do whatever you like here.
Yeah, so we are playing. So what I held up is Land of Giants, which is a supplement for Pendragon 4th edition, which covers medieval Scandinavia. It uses the same mechanics as classic Pendragon, which it turns out have been pretty much stable since 1st edition. So who knows why they have 5 editions when the mechanics are the same, but the art is nice in the new ones. So anyway, Pendragon 4th edition, Land of Giants. There are 2 adventures included in Land of Giants, and each of them covers about half of the medieval Old English epic, early medieval Old English epic Beowulf, which, Beowulf.
Yep.
This is the R.M. Liuzza translation instead of the Seamus Heaney translation, which I also have, but that's... well, we can talk about translations after we're off air. We don't need to do that while we're supposed to be gaming. So what we have are 5 players who are ready to step into the shoes of the great Geatish war hero Beowulf and do something about what is happening in the Hall of Herat, the finest mead hall in the known world.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start. Let's talk a little bit about where your characters are from, because I think you're from all over different parts of Scandinavia. So I have this map, and let us start. Carl is the first on my screen, so let's start with Alfhild.
Okay. All right. I am Alfhild. She is from Rogaland.
Rogaland. So Rogaland
I've
is...
been told she's a shield maiden. Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like that. She is ridiculously attractive with an appearance of 17.
With an appearance of 17. So, yeah, in Pendragon, one of the things, everything is rated on a score that is almost always from 1 to 20. Sometimes it's 0 if you don't have it at all. Every once in a while, things can be higher than 20. Any score that is 16 or higher is something that you are famous for. There's a sort of innate quality to your character that makes it obvious. With an appeal of 17, Alfhild is famously gorgeous. She's a serious heartbreaker who will be known in various places, and there's a sort of instantaneous recognition. And this applies not just to things like the character's size or strength, but also to their skills and their passions and their traits. So a character with super high valorous, I believe Raid here has 19 valorous.
I know I've got honor and loyalty real high. Where's valor?
Valor is one of the traits. It's the last of them.
Oh, gotcha. Yes, 19 valorous.
19 valorous. So there's a sort of almost supernatural quality about Raid here that will just let you know instantly, if you're looking for it, that this guy is a valorous combatant who will not flee from battle. And that's just sort of one of the kind of assumptions that the system makes. All right, so Sean, where is Raid here from?
Let's see. Well, Raid here is a Northman. He is a bachelor knight, very focused on his honor, loyalty, and valor. His home is Jutland.
Jutland is this part of modern-day Denmark.
Interesting. He has no hate in his heart, I notice. It's impressive. Zero on the hate.
Is it hate Saxons?
Hate Saxons.
Yeah. So that's it. So we'll talk about how each of the different things on your character sheet works in a minute, but I would just like to introduce the characters first.
Sorry.
Dave, you are up next. How about Wiekstan?
Wiekstan's also from Jutland, and
Also from Jutland.
Yes, and extremely proud. And I don't know, I didn't notice this earlier, but singing is his very high skill in singing. Perhaps some skaldic, bardic.
Nice
in there.
Nice. All right, Kevin, why don't you tell us about Newell?
Hey, okay, so Newell is it's funny, Arlen actually recommended this character for me, and I completely understand why now. This is exactly the kind of character I love playing. He is big and strong. I have a 17 size, so I'm fucking huge. And a 17 strength, so I am also a monster. However, I have a 17 chaste as well, too. So he doesn't fuck around, literally. And interestingly, so my temperate is quite high as well, too, so I don't tend to overindulge. I don't, I'm not necessarily with women or men. I am quite valorous at 15. But I'm also, while I am just at 12, I'm also deceitful 13. So I'm honorable and, am I honorable? No, I don't think I am. I'm not super honorable. But I will lie if it's something I think that is going to be for the greater good, I guess. So, yeah, I'm a big, noisy guy.
You're also culturally and ethnically not one of the Northmen.
Really? Okay, so yeah, my homeland is Aeland.
Aeland, and Aeland is... Let me find it on this map.
And I'm the Lord of Aeland. So if you
see.
guys were wondering, hey, who's the Lord of Aeland? Guys, it's me.
That would be you.
I also have a 17 in Spear. So I do not fuck around. Okay, so I'm on the coast there?
Oh, no, it is this island. Wrong island. You're on
Nice.
this little island right here.
You're the
You
lord
have
of an island.
17 in size?
Am I from the titular Land of Giants? Because I am pretty goddamn big and strong.
I've got a size of 19, so maybe you and I hang out together.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe my 18 in size is...
We're all big guys.
It's more
all
to do
big
with me
guys,
being
yeah.
lusty. 18
Yeah,
in size
so,
is about being lusty, yeah.
There are Northmen get an automatic +3 bonus to size and strength. So the human average of 10 is more like 13 for Northmen. So
Nice.
they're a big, strong people. And Wulfgar.
Alrighty,
Why don't you tell us about Wulfgar?
Wulfgar is a son of a family chieftain. He is actually a well-known merchant and hails from Telemark.
Telemark, which is right around here.
Oops,
And
sorry.
like most
Sorry, where was that,
Northmen,
Arlen? I had a character sheet open.
Right around here
Interesting,
in
okay.
Norway.
Okay.
Yeah, and like most Northmen, he is large on the size of 17. He's a little above average strength. He's not very dexterous, but he's well known for his battle prowess with a spear. Interesting enough, Wulfgar means wolf spear,
Love it.
and he's got an interesting mix of traits. He's highly forgiving at a 16, so he doesn't really take offense to most things, but he is extremely arbitrary, meaning he doesn't settle disputes by right or wrong. It's usually by the coin toss or whatever he feels in the moment.
Combat.
And he is somewhat merciful, and worldly he is pretty high on as well. He's not like he likes to dress well, present himself well, but he sneers at spirituality.
Excellent.
So the Aeland Islands, I was just looking at them online. They are incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
They look like the islands off the west coast of Canada.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Called as the Fairy Tale Islands.
Nice.
So we'll have to see
We'll
if
have
there's
to
any truth
go
to that.
visit sometime or something like that. Play Land of Giants in the Land of Giants.
Field trip.
That's a giant.
All right, so forgive me for everybody who already knows how the mechanics work, but we're going to go over mechanics for a few minutes, and then we will get into adventuring. So the way that Pendragon works, there are two types of rolls. There is the standard test and there's the damage roll. We'll start with the damage roll because that is the sort of special case. You roll a certain number of d6s based on a combination of your character's size and strength when you hit something, and that's a standard damage rating for one-handed weapons. There's certain bonuses or penalties that can apply. So if you hit with a sword and you have a damage rating of 5d6, you just roll 5d6. If you hit with a great sword, you roll 6d6. If you hit with a dagger, you roll 4d6. But generally, the idea is you roll a handful of d6s and you do that much damage minus the person you're attacking's armor, and that turns into hit point damage. And then there are some special rules based on how much damage you actually do or how much damage you actually take that can modify certain things. Your con attribute, your constitution, determines your major wound status. And a major wound is any single hit that does that much damage to you in one blow. And basically the idea being that you can get cuts and nicks to take away most of your health. But if you take a really big hit, that's, broken bones or a deep gash or something like that.
Crippled hand.
Okay.
Excellent. So the standard roll, the other type of roll that we make, is a d20 roll versus the number that is listed on your character sheet for whatever relevant thing you are either trying to do or that I told you to roll against. And there are a couple of different types of this sort of roll, essentially, where depending on the thing that you're rolling against, but they all work the same way.
Can I ask? Sorry. Some of my combat skills, for instance, I got like 17 in spear, but then I got 1 in dagger and 0 in great axe.
Yes.
Is that right? So I got no chance.
That is correct. Your people do not use great axes.
Oh, okay.
So you didn't. So you never learned how to use a great axe as a young man.
Okay.
But your 17 in spear is really good because what you want to do when you roll a test is roll under as high as possible. So it's the Price is Right rules. Roll underneath the number as high as possible. The higher you roll, that's better for opposed checks. There's 4 states of success, and it's the standard ones. There's a crit success, a failure, and a fumble. A success is anything underneath the number. A crit success is exactly the number that is listed on the character sheet.
Okay.
A failure is anything higher than the number, and a fumble is a 20, unless the number listed on your character sheet is a 20 or higher. But I don't think we have to deal with anything like that because none of you are
Not
that
until you kill us and give us legendary heroes to play.
Not until that was one of the things that I did in Paladin is I let people play some of the legendary knights, and they have ridiculously high stats above 20.
God mode.
Yeah, basically.
God mode
anyway,
in a battle where everyone dies.
Yeah, give them a chance to kill some Saracens before going down in a blaze of glory.
Love it.
Anyway, but this basic concept applies to everything. So some of your rolls will be against something like your statistics. So if I call for a dexterity roll, you would check your dexterity and you roll against that target number on a d20. There's also trait rolls. So for instance, if you are in combat or about to join combat, you might have to roll Valorous and roll against your trait of Valorous to determine if you are willing to charge into battle. For a skill roll, you roll against the listed skill to try to accomplish whatever the specific skill can accomplish in things. That's for standard rules. Opposed rolls work a little bit different, and combat is the main place where opposed rolls happen. In an opposed roll, the best success gets to win. So the best success is either the higher of the rolled numbers that is successful, or a critical when the other person only got a success, or a success when the other person only got a failure. But the general idea, most common, is the highest rolled number when both people are successful. So for instance, if you have 2 characters, both with sword of 14, and both of them roll, and one of them rolls a 3 and one rolls a 7, the guy who rolled a 7 wins the opposed skill test, and he gets to hit the other guy with his sword.
Okay.
And this we'll go over it every time we roll. It's because it's basically the same mechanic. will get used to it really quickly. But that is the mechanics. The only other thing that you need to know is that you have attributes which determine your physical attributes, right? They're how beautiful you are, how dexterous you are, how strong you are, how big you are, that sort of thing. You have traits. Traits determine your personality, especially on an instinctual level. So having a high valorous means that your kind of instant response in the moment is to charge into battle. Having a high lustful is your instant response is, when confronted with a beautiful woman or a beautiful man, to try to have sex with them, that sort of thing. Passions are a little bit different. Passions are what inspires you to greatness. And one of the things that you can do in the game, and it's going to be important once we get into life or death moments, is you can roll against your passion to literally impassion yourself and give yourself a boost to everything you do.
Okay.
So for instance, if there was a test of honor, you could roll against honor. And if you succeed at your roll against honor, you get a +5 bonus to all of the numbers on your character sheet, basically. Every single skill.
Wow.
Which is pretty powerful. It's a big deal, right? That's a 25% shift towards, and that can boost your skills to things over than 20, which makes it impossible to fumble, which is useful.
What happens if you fail?
If you fail, you get a penalty, and you go. Sometimes you go melancholic and are in a sort of depressed state. It's a big gamble, essentially, to call upon your passion, because it means that it's something you're doing something that will matter to your character for the rest of their lives, basically. And so it can send you into a deep depression, or it can send you to the heights of elation, but it's a gamble. So
Cool.
that, I think, is all that you guys need to know mechanically to play the game. So let us start with a 12 years earlier flashback. We see... Let me bring you over to the images of mead halls that I have. 2 of these are from... So there is Meduseld, the Great Hall in Rohan from Lord of the Rings, and this is the interior, and that should be on the map layer. But this gives you an idea of what Harrot looks like. It is this massive structure of wood and thatch and bronze and gold, and it is this towering mead hall. It is not for nothing that it is called the greatest mead hall in all the world. And inside is this boisterous singing and dancing and parties. There's lots of venison, there's for meat, and there's lots of meat, and there's, fresh bread. And it's the entire community has come together to celebrate the construction of Harrot, the greatest mead hall in all the world. And eventually, as happens with all parties, it begins to die down. The fire starts to die down in the center of the hall. Gradually, the revelers are no longer engaged in quite so serious revelry. The benches are pushed to the side, and people start laying out sleeping mats and go to sleep. And it's only as the entire hall has mostly died down that the doors spring open. And outside is a sort of moonlit darkness, nothing particularly visible, until there is a sort of hulking shadow as tall as the doors, which are 2 or even 2.5 times as tall as the largest man in the entire community. This hulking shadow fills the double doors with its breadth and its scale. And then, of course, it steps in further and further. And we know immediately that this is Grendel. Grendel, who is of the giant kind, who in the poem is called one of the descendants of Cain, the very first murderer, this creature, and it proceeds to feast upon the bodies, first one and then another, until enough noise is made that the screaming begins, and there is absolute terror in the midst of the hall as people are trying to wake up and grab their weapons and do something to fight against this creature. But there is nothing to be done, and many of them are slain. The hall becomes, rather than a place of grandeur, a place of absolute horror, and Grendel slinks off into the night to go to his watery den. This is the story that you have all heard because it has happened for 12 years. Not every night, but often enough that Heorot is a place not of the glory of Hrothgar, the king of Denmark, or the king of the Danes, not of the whole of modern Denmark, but just of a tribe of the Danes.
Mm-hmm.
Hrothgar, the king whose hall Heorot ought to be a place of glory, is a place of terror, and it is largely sealed. Every once in a while, there are still feasts held by the bravest. There are heroes who who spend the night in the hall, and what is found in the morning are the blood and carcasses and the detritus left behind by Grendel. No one has been able to stop this terror. This is what all of you know, and you know on some level that this awaits you as you have spent the last few days on a ship heading for the island of Zealand for King Hrothgar's hall. And each of you, I asked you to come up with or to think about a little bit about a reason that you might visit Hrothgar's hall, which does not have to be related to Grendel. Although if you are a mighty warrior out to prove your strength, you can think that Grendel would certainly be on your mind.
I'm looking at my character's motivations here. My love of family is huge. It's 18.
Yep.
I think that either a favored uncle or my father was in Heorot the night that Grendel first came.
Yeah.
I've hated this thing
definitely.
since that time. So that's the reason I've come to kill this thing that killed my father, uncle, whatever.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a perfect reason. Let's show Wiekstan. What do you think?
Well, although loyalty to my lord is the highest, I also think that it should be tied into kind of my bardic singing, and that I'm here to learn the tales firsthand from the descendants of those who fell, and maybe right the wrongs of what happened.
Excellent. And Wolfgar, what do you think?
Well, Wolfgar is not particularly loyal like some other people to their liege lord, but he's here pretty much to make a name for himself and to set up what could be a lucrative trade agreement between the lord of the island or the lord of the area and his homeland. So he's also here because mead. It's supposed to be the best mead in the land.
And how about Alfhild?
Well, Alfhild, she is also, I guess her father is the half Thane or a Hall Thane, I guess, from Rogaland, and she's extremely loyal to the Lord of Rogaland. She is here on behalf of that country and that Lord to give help to form alliance with the embattled and besieged Heorot Hall.
And finally, Raid here. What do you think?
Well, along with his 19 valor, he's got a 17 honor and 16 loyalty. So I think that he just can't resist. I mean, it's a classic, a right that needs to be wronged. It's outrageous, and he's the man to do it. He's the He's the large great axe swinging fixer of these kinds of irritants on lords and halls.
Excellent. So all of you, you're not actually at Herod yet. You're on a ship heading to the island of Zealand, where Hrothgar has his settlement, and Herod is the crown jewel of this settlement, Lethra.
Can I ask you something about the kind of the culture?
Yeah.
How do you think I would feel about Hrothgar? Like, do you think would it be fair for me to think he's weak, or?
So Hrothgar, it's complicated. It's not really fair to think that he's weak because Grendel is here.
Yeah.
Grendel is something supernatural, and Hrothgar has been a good king. He was a successful raider for many years as a young man and amassed enough treasure to build this hall and all that sort of stuff. He's not weak. He is.
So I guess that I would feel like I have common cause with him as opposed to blaming him for.
Yes.
My dad's death. Okay, and that's good. Okay.
Although that would be complicated because Hrothgar, as the Lord of Herod, technically your father was under his hospitality when Grendel killed him. So you don't necessarily have to like Hrothgar, but you're on his side, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That helped. That does help.
Yeah, no, that's good. So all of you are on a ship, and you can see the sort of green line on the horizon of the island when storms begin to arise and the storm clouds gather from around, and gradually the sea becomes more and more choppy, and the ship captain, who only has 75 glory, says, "What do we do?" Because this is a system where whoever has the most glory is in charge. That's just the nature of this world, is that you don't have a sort of inviolable right to command, but you're definitely in charge if you have the most glory. So Weogstan has 271.
What's the scale?
223.
What's the scale of glory? Like
the scale of glory?
How high can you go? What's the
2 cells?
So Hrothgar.
What's the scale of glory? It's the end treasure for my next RPG campaign.
Right.
Nice.
Hrothgar, to give you an idea, has.
Oh my God, Wolfgar!
Wolfgar the Inglorious.
Yeah.
Wolfgar. Well, Wolfgar is only a trader, so he does not have as much glory as the people who occupy higher positions in society. Hrothgar has 20,000 glory, to give you an idea. So he is far above you. Beowulf, who is statted out in here as after killing Grendel, has 40,000 glory. So none of you are anything like the scale of these almost mythical figures.
Is glory is something that is from Pendragon proper as well?
Yes, glory is in Pendragon proper. Pendragon proper characters have a lot more glory because you get 1,000 just for being knighted.
I'm a knight with 74. What's that say?
You're not a knight. I just put that on the character sheet to reflect because they didn't have a spot for
thrall.
Yeah, there's no spot for
man at arms.
Sean, you're not a knight. Calm down. That's a typo, my friend. Just calm down. Have a seat.
He was trying to tell you to good night, sweet prince.
Right.
All right, Alfhild. So the ship captain comes up to you, Alfhild. Alfhild, by 2 points of glory, gets to be in charge. The ship captain comes up to you and says, "What do we do?"
Make for the shore with as much haste as possible. I am no boatman, so I hope you have these skills.
Well, someone has a 10 in boating. Hello.
Avoid the rocks.
Yeah. I come from an island nation. My boating is a 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. We just don't do that.
Does anybody have a boating higher than 12?
No.
I have a 10.
I have a 10.
Nope.
All right. So then it's going to be the ship captain's boating skill at 12. So Alfhild, why don't you roll me 1d20? And if you type 1d20 versus 12, that's a good way that we can keep track of what the target number is.
5 out of 12.
5 out of 12. Excellent. So the ship captain, invigorated by a short speech from Alfhild, does his best to steer through the storm. There are moments when you feel, each of you, that you might go overboard as the waves kind of slosh up onto the deck. And I'm going to have everybody roll me awareness right now.
You know, I was just sitting here thinking, can I roll some awareness? I'd find that under what? Skills?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's under skills tab.
No mod?
No modifier.
Boom. 4. Success.
Nope.
All right, so everyone who succeeded, and you will not Raid here in particular, because he got the best success because he got the highest roll that was successful. You can see at the edges of your vision, just, you know, a couple feet under the water, there are some sort of scaly serpentine creatures. None of them actually come into the boat, and none of you actually fall out of the boat into the water, but you can't help but think that if you were to go overboard, that something is out there. You can't tell if it's one large multi-tentacled creature or if it's perhaps many smaller ones, but there is definitely something out there on Zealand.
There is something scaly and vile in the water. Stay in the boat if that wasn't already clear.
Can we see what's there?
You can't see well enough what it is. You're in the middle of not the absolute kind of ragingest storm ever, but you're in the middle of the storm.
Okay.
So there's rain in your face. There's wind whipping all around. The waves are crashing up and down, reaching up over the side of the boat and sloshing through and nearly wiping you off into the water itself. But no one goes overboard. The boat does not capsize, and somehow you survive.
I got a question. May I use? I see that I got a skill called Fairy Lore. May I use Fairy Lore to try and see if I've heard of anything about this? Anything lurking off the coastland or the coast of Zealand?
Not right now, because you don't really have any indication that there is something.
I haven't heard of a dragon off the coast or anything like that.
No, you haven't heard of anything like that would, and you don't really have any indication. Sea serpents are rare, but they're considered a sort of natural phenomenon.
Okay.
So it's not like it's weird and it's kind of unnerving.
Okay.
But it's unnerving the way that facing a trained warrior is unnerving, not unnerving the way that facing a trained warrior who has just sprouted up out of the ground would be unnerving.
Okay.
But somehow, after what seems like hours, but it must not have been that long, the storm begins to abate, and the ship captain is able to sail the ship up onto the coastline. There's a sort of shale, rocky beach of the island. And we have some pictures of what Zealand actually looks like.
Love it. Very cool.
Oh, it's hyperboric. You know.
It's a Lilliputian.
Love it.
But it's basically you spend most of the night, and it's the next morning when you actually get up onto the coast. And as you guys are disembarking, and you have to actually pull the ship up. It's one of those flat-bottomed long ships, so you have to pull it up onto the beach so that it doesn't wash away, but it's built for that. Everyone is going to roll me awareness again.
So are we onto this, like this little meadow-looking thing, or?
Nat
no,
20.
You're still on the sort of rocky beach. This is once you get up off the beach, you'll be in kind of meadows like this.
So I roll a nat 20. That's a fumble, isn't it?
Nat 20 is a fumble. So Neowil is going to be distracting at least one person who is successful.
Sea serpent! I see a sea serpent!
Alfred actually makes it 7 out of 8. That's crazy.
Nice.
Wolfgar makes it.
Alfild, Wolfgar.
So Alfield is the highest ranking person here, right?
Yes.
I maybe
like
she's the one who I distract.
Yep.
17.
Well,
My lady.
You are a big strapping giant of a man, and you know.
Just
Definitely
leave it
not
there.
me with my
Voice.
You just get in the way.
I thought I saw a sea serpent over there, or maybe over
that's
there.
That's why Weokstan keeps failing his awareness, because there's this very attractive woman on the ship.
Also, an
He's
impressive warrior too. She's got such a high glory.
Yeah.
I got what's her name?
I don't know. I think it's all because I'm looking at her combat skills. I mean, I don't know if you guys would never see her in battle, but it has to be because of her like standing. Because she's like her father's like a hall thane, which is pretty.
Oh, okay, got it.
So you get glory for like from status as well. Right?
She's
So,
a nepotism Viking.
Most of your glory in all of your cases is from your status within the culture. Basically,
Right.
you get a certain amount of glory based on what your father did, and then a certain amount of glory based on what you have done.
But I mean, she was notably not only attractive but valorous. So.
Yep.
With 17 valorous. So I mean, yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. So Wolfgar, you're the one who notices it. There's a rider coming down a sort of zigzagging road that comes down the cliffs towards the beach. He has a spear in one hand, not couched like a lance,
Perfumed.
but he is rushing down.
Wolfgar will clear his throat loudly and says, "If you're done ogling the female, there's somebody coming."
A silk-swaddled messenger boy.
So all of
Alfred's
you
like, I guess
are aware
Alfred's
now, and
he
he's
stepped
down
forward.
on the beach and kind of rides up to you. Does anyone want to say anything to him before he speaks?
So what is what is the weather like? Is it like foggy? Is it sunny? Is it dreary? Is there like a mood over the?
It's turned
And
into a
then-
pretty beautiful day after the storm has passed. So it's pretty bright and sunny. The spear tip is kind of glinting in the sunlight. And he has a helmet on. He has Kurboli hardened leather armor. So he's not. You can sort of tell by that and by the fact that he is here to greet you that he is probably somebody who works for Hrothgar, but he's not at the top of the food chain among Hrothgar's men.
Yeah.
I go. We are warriors here to partake in the hospitality of Thane Hrothgar. They're not 13.
All right. And he sort of looks around at all of you and says, "In all the years I have lived as lookout here at Land's End so that no foreigner with a fleet army might land in Denmark and do us harm, shield carriers have never come ashore more openly. You have no assurance of welcome here, nor word of leave of Hrothgar. I'll have your names now and the names of your lords, and further you shall not go as undeclared spies in the Danish land."
Well, I guess that Alfred will then reply with saying, "I am Alfred, daughter of whatever the Lord of Rogaland is."
Yeah, I don't think I wrote it down. You don't have to
No,
know
I
the
didn't.
name of your lord,
Right.
but presumably your character would know.
Right. Right.
Wouldn't it be like something's daughter? Like if you do your
I'll be
mother's
Alf.
name, be
I'll
Alfred.
just say Alfred,
someone's daughter.
Rogaland's daughter. That's fine.
Because I would be Weokstan, Waldstan's son.
I'm Newell. I don't know what was my father's name. Is it a Geatish name or?
Let me check if I wrote down. I don't think I wrote down your father's name. Oh, Widgast.
Weedgast. Let's say Mads. Weedgastson, Lord of Aeland. My heart carries the same grief that your lord does.
So I see the confusion. You're not the Lord of Aeland. Your lord is the Lord.
Oh, my lord is the Lord of Aeland. So I'll say that I'm Newell, son of... What was my father's name again?
Widgast.
Weedgast. So I'm Newell Wiedgeson. My heart carries the same grief that your lord does, as my father died at your lord's monster's hand. I'm here to address that wrong done to both our families.
He's very solemn at the mention of that.
I'm valorous, so I kind of cut to the chase.
Yep.
Raidhere's father or lord would be what, you think?
Raidhere's father is named Rendhere.
Rendhere. I am Raidhere, son of Rendhere. I am here to bolster the honor of your king that Grendel has smeared with his villainous attacks on the greatest mead hall in the world.
And he's looked at each of you in turn and looks at Wolfgar.
Yeah, Wolfgar. He says, "I am Wolfgar, Wolf's son, hail from Telemark, son of a traitor. I am a traitor, not traitor. Traitor.
Son of a traitor. Wait, what?
And
Get him!
do you make that distinction with him? I am not a traitor. I am a
Yeah.
traitor.
Yes. And I am here to bring the wealth of my family and set up shop. And if there is a monster that needs slain, I can lend my spear."
There is a monster that besets my lord's hall. Very well. I shall lead you to Herod and send a few men to guard the ship. And the ship captain is going to stay here as well. He sort of says, all right, I've done my part. Waves you off. So if no one has anything else to do, you're going to just follow along. He's riding and all of you on foot.
Okay.
We'll follow along to Lethra, the settlement of Hrothgar. And this one down at the bottom, this picture is of a Viking Age, so a little later ring fort. But it gives you some idea of what we're talking about with Lethra, is that there are these four cardinal directions. There's a built-up earthen rampart. There would be a palisade across the top of the earthen rampart, and then buildings inside. And as you arrive, you can see. Let me bring you over to the next picture. So here we have Scandinavia and then Lethra right here. The town is dominated by Herod, this massive mead hall. But there are 50 or 60 other buildings. They seem to have wooden, they seem to be mostly built out of wood, although they have stone floors and foundations and, thatch across the top for the roofs. And he brings you up to Herod, where there is another man, this man arrayed in full chainmail. He doesn't have any weapons or a shield, but he does have a sword at his side. And he sort of looks you up and down. And Osric, the man who was watching the coast, says, I have brought these men and women who say they have come to do deeds for our lord Hrothgar. And up pipes the man in chainmail, and he says, I am Wolf, Prince of the Wolfings, and herald to Hrothgar. And I guess that it is not exile that has brought you here, but rather a boldness of spirit from your demeanor and your passage here. And then he waits, and everybody is going to roll me courtesy.
I'm also going to say, interject, and the justice of vengeance.
Excellent.
And what am I rolling here? Sorry.
Courtesy.
Courtesy.
Kurt fail.
I'm going to fart in this guy's face.
Nope, that's me. In your general direction.
Boom! Another nat 20.
I may slip out mostly the mead.
Is Roll20 out to get us again?
Yeah, really. I back-to-back nat 20s for me.
I'm gonna have to retype this. I keep, scrolling
Oh,
up.
wow.
And I'm gonna have to
At least-
type it all out
At
again.
least outfit is courteous.
So Alfield,
The rest-
you know
The rest
that
of you.
he's waiting for you to put your weapons by the door and basically hand them over. Nobody else knows this, and in fact, Neowil and Wolfgar, you immediately think, all right, it's time to go talk to
I'm walking
Hrothgar
right in with
and-
my spear.
Men,
Hmm.
fellow travelers, you must leave your weapon at the door, as is the courtesy.
So I'll look at the spear. I look up at the Lord.
And she does put her spear at the door, right?
Yeah.
And I guess her shield as well, yeah.
Yeah, spear and shield. You're allowed to keep. You can keep a sword and a dagger.
Okay.
Oh, that makes Wolfgar feels better because he doesn't want to go in unarmed.
No, my people.
But you can also see that Wolf, the Prince of the Wolfings, who is Hrothgar's herald, he has his hand on his sword ready to draw it as soon as Neowil and Wolfgar started moving towards the door. He was ready to start a fight for doing that.
So I just rolled to see how I reacted to this stuff. I just rolled a nat 10, which is my prudent. So I think that I don't say, like, I don't like flush with red for the embarrassment or anything like that. I just look back, and like, she's totally right. Make my way back and place the spear in wherever the spears would go.
Yes, we must be. I try to play it off. So we must still be jostled. Our minds must still be jostled as we were tossed on the waves, arriving here on the storm.
I think I swallow it as I'm from a, she's clearly from a much more traveled people. I come from an island that I've never left.
Yep.
Okay. Wolfgar will leave his sword and spears.
I've just been given another reason to listen to Alfhild. Alfhid, sorry.
Alfred.
Oh, that's terrible. I can't make a roll.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know. For me, like in combat, it's going to all turn around because I have such low skills here, but I'm making them, which is crazy.
Mm.
I'm sure it'll all turn around.
Well, you're more of like a commander. You have pretty good battle.
Her battle's really good.
So I think, in fact, I'm going to defer to Alfred. I'll let Alfred do the talking. I keep chirping up and whatnot, so I'll come stand kind of near her. I am I am extremely chaste and also quite temperate, so it's not as if it's a base interest in her. It's just she clearly knows what she's doing and has standing for me.
Like if 16 is like the number, she has a 16 battle, so you might know her as a good tactician.
Awesome. Okay.
Leader.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Okay.
Excellent. So,
but not a good dancer at all.
Harlan, is it similar to the last time you ran a game with this system? Do we have to keep track of our successes and our failures?
we're not going to do any improvements, so
Okay.
You don't need to keep track of. In regular Pendragon, what you do is every time you succeed at a meaningful skill check or a meaningful check to traits or anything like that, you can check. There's a check box next to the number, and at the winter phase, you can see if you improve at those things.
Okay.
Which is the way that it does kind of natural improvement over time.
It's a very cool system.
Yeah.
Especially for, I think it's one of the first. Like it had a built-in, domain system, if you will, for running the manners or holdings of the different player characters. So you have so it's a fantastic system for that.
Would that also work conversely? So if you kept failing your valorous, you'd become less valorous potentially?
Potentially. Normally what you do when you do a trait roll is you actually, if you fail the first roll, you roll again against the other one. So we extend, this is a good example. You failed your trusting roll. So now you probably ought to roll suspicious to see if you're actually suspicious or if you're just ambivalent.
Right. So then you would check the opposite one, and if you have like a high valor and you keep messing up, then maybe that
might lower your valor.
Right, because they're paired traits, right?
Interesting.
Yes.
So I also failed on suspicious. So I'm neither trusting nor suspicious.
All right.
You're bored.
I'm just bored. Indifferent in this instance.
Excellent. So weapons have been checked at the door. The potential for violence has passed. Wolf takes his hand away from his sword. And you see around you, you realize that there were a number of other Hall Thanes who were probably ready to jump you guys if you had tried to start something with him. But it's only after the fact that you really noticed them as they've kind of stepped out of the shadows. But then he gestures for you to enter Harrod. If you remember, the doors are about 2.5 times as tall as even the tallest among you, and the hall is towering up even above that. The top is this sort of smoke-filled. There's only one hole for the smoke to escape from, so it's kind of this eerie. The timbers and stuff sort of half hid by the smoke rising from the central fire. And you make your way into Herod. At the far end, King Hrothgar, that would be this guy, sits on a throne with gold plating and design and all of that sort of stuff. There's a couple of other people next to Hrothgar. There's a man named Unferth, who is one of his counselors, as well as another older man named Ashir, another counselor. And then finally, there's the poet Yermanlof. Yermanlof, who you can just tell by resemblance, is probably Ashir's younger brother.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have everybody roll me awareness one more time to see what you can tell about the state of Hrothgar's kingdom with regard.
Fucking nat 20 again.
It's all good.
You're playing the wrong game, Kevin.
All right,
Just own it,
Neil.
Kevin. Just own it.
Yeah, Neil, you're totally taken in by this magnificent building, and you think, oh, things must be. You've never even seen something quite like this. Everybody who succeeded, you can tell that this place is really big and has space for a whole lot more people than are actually here. And probably more people than live in the entire settlement. There's this thing is huge, but the settlement didn't look like it wasn't like a bustling metropolis or anything like that. And Hrothgar's warriors are sort of sitting on the long benches all up near the head of the hall, near the high seat itself, but there's a lot of bench that is unoccupied by warriors. And those of you with a mind to it probably think back to what you've heard about Grendel and the possibility that this is what has happened to a once glorious kingdom under siege by a monster.
No one who is just going to come in and sit at the table and risk their life unless they're here for a reason, or they're kin, or stop this atrocity from happening.
Yes.
Well,
So
tactically, I guess Alfred would probably take someone inside and say, well, as you can't have weapons in this place, no wonder. Right? If that monster comes in here and kills unarmed people.
A sharp observation, Alfhild.
Indeed.
It is an obvious one. But as it is the way, right? It is our culture.
Well, what happens when you get a bunch of Northmen drunk and someone throws a fist? The next guy grabs a dagger, the next guy grabs a greatsword, and then it's a bloodbath. Can't have that.
What kind of Northmen do you hang out with? We settle fist fights with fist fights.
And already a fight breaks out.
What's my
and
unarmed
you can
attack
see
against
behind
Northmen?
the throne, in fact, there are fully armed warriors, men with shields and spears and swords, and they're in full chainmail armor. And these, you might guess, are Hrothgar's personal guard.
Is that
So you get up there
for them to be fully armed, or is that sort of what is typical for a thing?
That's just what it's like. That's
Okay.
This is a dangerous world, so it's worth having your guards armed, like that.
Okay.
I might need to go and get some armor on just because.
Feeling dangerously unarmored.
Yeah.
So you come up, and Hrothgar looks immediately at Alfhild, because he can tell that Alfhild has the highest glory, and says, "Why have you come to my hall?" Alfhild, you don't have to be the one to answer this if you want to defer to somebody else, which might be a good idea, because you will all. I'll let you kind of talk amongst yourselves. What your approach wants to be. But orate is the useful skill.
Yeah, who's a good
What is the useful skill? Sorry.
Orate.
I think there was a bard. We had like a bard.
Yeah, not this cowboy.
I have
rate of 4.
You got a 9. I also have an appearance of 6, so that might not be a good thing.
Dave's put on his chainmail.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Little RP bonus.
Who is the? Who would I know is a good? I mean, man, yeah, Alfred is a thinker. She doesn't talk. She might even stammer now and again.
Yeah, I have
She has an orate of
6.
3.
I have a 6.
So,
Dave, what's your orate?
Dave, what was your orate?
My what?
Orate.
Skill.
Orate.
8.
Ugh, that's like the best we have.
Dave, you are the
not
chatty
talking.
Cathy.
9.
I've got a
Going
9.
at 9.
But yeah.
Oh yeah,
9's
Wolfgar's
the
better.
winner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not so pretty. So it's up to you guys if you want me to talk.
I don't think that. I mean, the stat doesn't play into the.
Okay, well, I will say I am here. I'm here on behalf of the King of Rogaland, who I wrote his name down, Hagena, and we are here to offer you aid and alliance with the mighty Hrothgar and the troubles of his hall.
I said, we are always prepared to ally with brave warriors who are valorous in their deeds and true in their promises.
We are assembled from all over. I guess, do we actually call it Scandinavia? I mean, I don't even.
Yes, why don't we call it Scandinavia? There's probably
I guess it's called Thule, right? Also,
it is also called Thule in
We are-
this book.
we are gathered from all over the lands of Scandinavia and Thule to aid you, mighty king, because we kind of are, right? We're all
Yeah.
all over.
I was actually starting to write some verse to this, and then I realized I'm fucking rewriting Beowulf. I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to stop now and delete that file. Like, no.
I will, without trying to say too much, I will just introduce myself and who I am, who my father was.
It says, yes, we knew your father in his time, and it grieves all of the Danes to have suffered his loss and the loss of so many others.
And I think you see, like, a titanic or glacial shift as his jaw kind of, processes the emotion. And I'll nod and be rendered unable to say anything by the emotion of it. Then step back.
All right. Unless anybody else... Does anybody else have anything to say to Hrothgar?
Raid here puts his hand on his non-existent great axe now, kind of fumbling for it where it should be, rather than leaning against the wall where it shouldn't be, and says, "I ask the king to give us leave to hunt down this curse of the hall that has been that has marred its reputation."
You mean to slay the monster Grendel?
I do.
He is a terrible opponent in battle.
I look forward to the contest.
The mighty spirit is in you, warrior.
And Raid here is enjoying that he doesn't have to duck as he usually does, with beams and ceilings and.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he Hrothgar sort of, just for a moment, he looks to either side at his counselors, and both of them, it's clear that Ashir kind of likes you and Unferth does not. But Hrothgar,
Can we tell
Who
why?
are they again?
Ashir is the older counselor and Unferth is the younger one.
Okay.
Can we tell why they don't like us?
You have a sense that it has to do with their differing opinions on how Grendel should be dealt with. Because it really became obvious when Raid here talked about fighting Grendel that Unferth perhaps does not even believe that Grendel can be killed, whereas Ashir believes in the might of sword arms to put down this.
Have we heard of anyone try? I mean, maybe in the early days, people tried to take up arms against Grendel, but has anyone actually done it, or are we aware of anyone who's tried to?
Oh yeah, people have. You definitely know that people have spent the night in Harrod to try to fight Grendel when he comes, and have not succeeded.
Okay.
But Hrothgar says, "Well, it is your lives on the line, but never let it be said that my Danes do not enjoy a good feast." And so he turns to Asher and says, "Announce to the settlement, we shall have a feast tonight and summon up the monster." And that's sort of the end of this scene.
Great.
Neat.
So you guys are given a chance to, there's sort of, obviously there's not like, running water and showers and stuff, but you're given a chance to kind of clean yourselves up as best you can and make yourselves presentable for the feast, given spots within the rankings of the long benches that are what this hall is filled with.
Do we know when the monster comes? Is it when people sleep after the feasting, or is it during the feasting?
After the feasting, but the feasting is related to it. When there's no feasting and merrymaking and that sort of stuff, Grendel usually stays away.
Okay. Okay. But he always comes when,
But he doesn't always come when there's a feast, but he's a lot more likely to.
Okay.
See.
Excellent.
Okay. Goes without saying, I don't partake in ale or women or men.
This will be a test, though, because Weokstan the Lusty is also very indulgent.
Yeah.
So we have a table of events that happen during the feast. So let's see what the first thing is.
Come on, appetizers.
There is a...
I order the poo-poo platter.
Deep fried pickles.
So the very first event of the feast seems to be a drinking contest that many of Hrothgar's warriors are taking part in. And if you would like to take part in it, you can roll indulgent, and if you succeed, you basically are able to keep up with everybody else, and if you fail, you are in trouble. You can imagine.
Never let it be said that Alfred is ever drunk under the table. She has a 13 indulgent, so of course she's gonna try to best these men. So, all right. I'm gonna go ahead. Roll my.
Roll in your pride.
I'm trying to determine if I can hold off from competing.
Is that what we would roll?
Alfred, 11 out of 13.
Nice.
Is that what you think we would roll to try and hold off?
You think proud is
You don't have to roll anything necessarily. The roll in this case would be more for role playing if you think it would matter to your character.
There's also reckless, Dave, if you wanted to go with that route. See if you got your.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess since Alfred has since she has a Alfield has basically a 13 indulgent, so she's more inclined to be drinking than not. She does partake.
So Weokstan's first thoughts are, if Grendel's potentially coming, I should lay off the booze. So he sits down, we're at the tables, and all of a sudden they announce the drinking competition. And he's like, it's early in the night. If I have a couple now, like I'll sober up before Grendel gets here. And I failed.
And so Weokstan.
I'm gonna check against prudence to not partake, and we'll see how that goes. Nope. Let's see if he does with reckless.
Looks like a little bit of recklessly.
Okay, so I think he's gonna partake in the drinking contest.
Nice.
Definitely some reckless people here. I like it.
Yeah, I think right here just doesn't think it's really not going to be a contest. I mean, he's a very large man, and he's like this won't take long.
The problem is we're in a hall full of very large people.
Right.
This is the largest of the large and the largest hall in the world.
Don't confuse raid here. Let's not get too much logic involved. This is just.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what your size is, but I'm an 18.
I'm a 19.
So yeah,
You guys
Kev's-
tower.
and
You cower behind Alfred. She's a size 12.
Yeah, she's tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny.
But pretty 14 strong. Pretty strong for her
Nice.
size.
Nice.
Damn, you beat me in arm wrestling.
Right
We're the
here
muscle.
and Wigstan already rolled Indulgent. Wolfgar, are you gonna roll Indulgent to see?
Oh yeah, I should
if
probably
you can
do
keep
that.
up. Now you're actually joining the
You can keep
contest
up,
after
yeah.
all that tests of will.
Indulgent.
Yes, I made it.
All right, and right here, why don't we see
Yes.
if you can keep up?
All right. Oh, look at that.
Crit.
Nice,
Oh,
crit. So right here
boom.
not only keeps up, right here wins the contest.
Obviously. Thank
Nice.
you. Didn't take
So-
Very
long.
nice.
You get Knuckles from Weokstan. He's like, I will sing a song of this, and we survive the night.
And we do our knuckles up by the shoulder, where no one else can reach. I'm
Yeah.
picturing.
Excellent. So Wigstan,
over
since you
Alfred's head.
failed,
Right.
you are going to be in a drunken stupor for the rest of the night,
no.
unfortunately. But everybody else is able to hold their liquor. So
Kevin, while you were gone, Raid here just completely killed the contest. Just the drinking contest was ridiculous.
He critted. It's nice.
yeah, he critted, so he wins the contest. All of Hrothgar's warriors are in awe at your ability to consume alcohol.
Wow.
Size 19 is almost godly there. He can hold his liquor.
Yeah. All right. Next event.
Axe throwing after we drink.
Ooh.
Right. That makes
At the
perfect sense.
losers.
That makes perfect sense.
I don't know.
We got.
I'm wandering
For
outside briefly for a
Nero.
very long piss.
You're fourth on my screen. Someone has heard about your exploits as a warrior and as a mighty thane.
For who? For who? Who is this?
For you.
Me.
You will.
All right.
Yes. Somebody's heard about you. So you're going to roll proud
Let's see.
to see if you tell the tale.
Yeah, I'm neither. I'm not overly proud, not overly modest. So let's see here. I'm interested to see the result. Nat 20 again. I apparently won nothing but nat 20.
So you
My sheet is broken. Jesus Christ.
That's not broken. That's working, Kevin.
There you
that's
go.
That's
Not in this game, it ain't. Jeez. So in nat 20,
So
so I guess
you-
I'm modest as fuck.
I think actually what happens because you fumbled is that it's not that you're modest, but you attempt to add to it, to boast about your things, and it turns out that they have heard the truth, and it is clear that you're not telling it as is, and so they're some of the warriors seem to think that that's a little, boasting is an important part of this society and boasting about your warrior deeds, but telling tall tales is something else, and getting caught telling tall tales in particular is
Yeah, so I mean, once again, I think I'm showing what a kind of a country bumpkin I am from this like island in the middle of nowhere.
yeah. But that's okay. We need all kinds.
Yep.
So
Wait, isn't
there's a chance.
Didn't Newell have like deceitful a bit in his traits?
I am deceitful. Yep. I got 13.
There you
in
go.
Deceitful.
There you go.
Yep. So there is singing, there's merrymaking, there's all sorts of stuff, but gradually the hall gets quiet and it becomes clear that it is an opportunity for the guests to provide some type of essentially the last entertainment, the last song to end the night.
Yeah.
If anybody would like to roll, you can roll sing, orate, or whatever your play instrument is to provide entertainment for the
Isn't-
end of the night.
Right here, the kind of the bard.
I think
name.
Wigstan has good singing.
Isn't he in a drunken stupor though?
Alfred I have an 11 out of 20.
I'll defer to someone else.
I guess Alfred will sing a song of. Oh no!
Not 20.
He's everywhere.
Nat 20 for the drunken singing by
Hammered.
So yeah, it is. You're in a drunken stupor, so it's just terrible. It's not the beautiful music that you expect, perhaps accompanied by harps and stuff like that, that would be appropriate for this place. It is just awful.
The worst
And,
karaoke you've ever heard is.
Can Alfred try to rescue this with her soprano?
Yeah. Why don't you try to you can shut him up and you can sing the song instead, and it might be better.
This drunk
Tale
off
of
stage.
Lost. Will it work? Oh man, no.
But it's better than Weok stands. So Alfild,
Okay.
it turns out, can actually carry a tune. She's just not feeling it tonight, really. It's an uncomfortable moment at the end, and Hrothgar sort of looks around and sees, and he raises a hand, and it's clearly a signal that this is the end of the night. The benches are pushed aside so that anyone who wants to sleep in the hall can. Nobody is going to sleep in the hall, except for you guys, and a handful of Hrothgar's warriors who have decided that they've sort of plucked up their courage and they're going to help you fight Grendel. And there's 4 or 5 of them that
should Grendel arrive.
Should Grendel arrive, they are going to help fight Grendel.
They let us have our spears and stuff back, right?
Yes, Hrothgar, as he is leaving, he hands over control of the hall to you, Alfid, and he basically says, "You're in charge here. Gather up your weapons from the weapon racks and prepare for the monster."
All right. So, is there a way that we can make this a bit more to our tactical advantage? How would I do that? Maybe with battle. Is there something that we can gain an edge, learn about this Grendel's tactics if he so arrives?
Let's actually. So, why don't you roll battle and we'll see.
Okay. Oh, I know this map. You one ringer, you.
Yep. Well, it turns out there's a limited number of good hall maps.
I know this is a fantastic one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys can position yourself. The entrance to the hall is up at the top. You succeed.
Yep.
So one of the things that comes to mind is that during the night, the poet Yermanloth sang a song as well. And Yermanloth's song, I wrote up something. O Hall of Heroes, mead hall magnificent, let us see terror's terminus this night, the rampage rocked by mighty men, the end of Grendel's goings and comings and slayings, the very break of dawn to light the darkness. He disdains swift swordplay, sharp axes and bright spears, the honed knife edge of smith's handiwork, and for those he kills, nothing. No compensation for the decomposing, no man price in glittering gold for the grieving. Guard over these all, Father and Word Lord, that the ravens do not rip and the wolves do not worry, and their bright steel blazes forth in the morning.
So so if I interpret that correctly, attacking with weapons is not really helpful.
Yes, that's what you get for your
look at the
successful battle roll.
The 2 giants among us. I guess who's that? That's
Right here in Wigstan, and Newell's big too.
I say, how good are you at wrestling?
Reasonable.
You mean grappling?
Yeah, the grappling, I guess.
Fairly decent.
Reasonable.
I'm passable.
Based on the poet's words, it seems that Grendel it's tough for weapons do not work against this monster. So perhaps if we were to wrestle him or grapple him,
What
tackle
about
him, grab him,
what about
Track
burning
him.
him? Torches or something?
that I do not know. No one's ever.
Have we tried something different?
I wasn't in the poem. We could try something different. But Raid here is a pretty good grappling. If you call upon your, I mean, I'm sure all of us are going to be impassioned, just at some point. So that might be pretty good, right? So Raid here, why are you here again? What did you, or what's your motivation?
Grendel.
So that could be like honor. You want to best.
Grendel.
Are you pretty honor?
I've already crushed all the knights in drinking, and now it's time for Grendel.
Nice.
Get Grendel drunk. Good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of fighting him, we offer him
I will
hospitality.
challenge him to a drinking contest. That'll take him by surprise.
Okay.
All right. So let's actually see.
It seems like we have to. It seems that that's what we need to do. Is
Yeah. So why don't you guys arrange yourselves wherever you think you would be best. You also will instinctively know, or rather not instinctively know, you will know that Grendel, sometimes Grendel comes loud, sometimes Grendel comes quiet. He does not always, sometimes he sort of slips in the night and starts feasting while there are still people sleeping, and sometimes it's just a cacophony of screams and it's absolute chaos. And yeah.
Okay. Are there torches on each of these pillars?
Yes, torches on each of the pillars, and then this is a big kind of hearth with a fire in it.
Okay. I'm good where I am, and I've got my spear with me.
Alfred is gonna, she's gonna be near the hearth because maybe that fire suggestion might be worth it, worth a try.
Okay.
I'll interact with the king's men that decided to throw in their lot, and to see if they have any thoughts, considering they've been here, about what's been tried before. What are even the rumors of what is thought to be more effective against the undefeated Grendel?
Yeah. So one of them says to you, and he says, Grendel doesn't use weapons, and seems to shrug off even the mightiest of blows with a sword or an axe or anything like that. We can only hope that tonight his magics will be less effective and our spears will bite. Otherwise, it will be a matter of blunt force, essentially, to actually take him down. And they have all of you guys, except Weokstan, who is still in a drunken stupor, have pretty much sobered up by this point, as you're thinking about the possibility of Grendel's arrival. So let's see.
I can't remember if there's an aid mechanic. Is there an aid mechanic?
There's not really. I've got a sort of system to allow you guys to aid each other, that will help.
Alfred, let's say, I guess hearing or be overhearing what the men say.
Yeah.
She will re-emphasize. It seems that it is as what the Skald said is true. We have to take down the monster with our bare hands. As improbable as it sounds.
Okay. She seems to know what she's doing, so I'll defer to her instructions.
Because I am not as large as you all, so I'm willing to give it a go, or use fire.
So we need to roll to see if you guys can stay awake. So everybody's going to roll energetic, except Weokstan, who gets to roll energetic at -10.
Yeesh.
Which, yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna.
Well, nope.
Is anyone?
I actually got a crit.
Nice.
Nice.
So -10 to my energetic score.
-10 to your energetic score.
Okay.
I mean, with the personal stake I have in this, that's hardly surprising.
That is not surprising at all. And you haven't been partaking in the alcohol, so makes
Nice.
perfect sense that you would.
Oh man, Alfred. She's been talking too much. She goes to sleep.
But sometimes when you've been drinking, you get that second wind.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Nice.
on the
Withstand crits too.
You
Nice.
crit.
So Withstand and Neowell, you guys are up and you're energized, you're charged, you're manic all night. Alfhild and Wolfgar and Raid here. Did you all fail? Raid here succeeded.
I succeeded.
Right here, you are able, you kind of perhaps sit down, almost nod off at one point, but you're able to keep your eyes open.
Yeah, just that heart
Alfhild,
is warm, you know.
yep, Alfhild and Wolfgar, you're not able to actually stay awake, and so at some point in the wee hours of the morning, you drift off into slumber.
Mm-mm.
been a long day.
Wolfgar and Alfhild, each of you has terrible dreams of this massive creature. And if you imagine something like a combination of a sort of bloodied and waterlogged corpse with the sort of eerie, the kind of raw power that's visible in something like a shaved chimpanzee that's just, you can tell that it's got muscles for days and could just rip you apart. That's kind of the sense that you get from the creature that appears in your minds. But it's later and it's later, and then suddenly it's early and you can hear the crying of birds and realize that sometime in the night it became morning and Grendel did not arrive.
So
And I
wake
think
up.
we're at our spot for our first break, if that's what people need.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like about the right time.
Yep, sounds
Huh,
good.
curious.
Yeah,
He knew we were here and was scared.
it was scared. He's very scared of you guys.
It was the drinking contest, let's be honest.
Yes.
Okay, so back in 5?
5.
That's good for me.
Sounds good.
a chainmail hauberk does not make a bio break easy.
Yeah. Can't believe I put together a whole list of music and I hadn't started anything until just before the break. So now we'll get to have some nice Kevin MacLeod music to background noise us.
Awesome.
We're all gonna die. You guys know that, right?
Just shoot your arrows when you have to.
Players don't always die in my one-shots.
But we are playing epic one shots, so like these aren't like, you know,
this is like
fighting a couple goblins and.
It's Beowulf is gonna kill Grendel.
or we can take us 40,000 glory.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun though. I would like trying out new systems.
Yes, I like the Pendragon system, and it hasn't really changed. You know, even with the new 5.2.
Yeah, there's a little bit of changes with the different editions, but a lot of it is just like the list of skills.
Yeah.
Honestly, and then some of like the naming conventions. So like they changed. It used to be pious worldly, but now it's spiritual worldly.
Oh.
To give the idea that like you could have a Friar Tuck character who is pious but is also worldly, but who just isn't like, you know, a cloistered monk type.
Do you have an edition that you like the most?
Probably. I hear that I haven't played enough of any of them to have a necessary favorite, but I hear that the newest one is generally considered the best one.
Yeah,
5.2.
It's organized a little better. The art has taken a huge upgrade, and the layout.
Yeah, the art in the 5.2 book is awesome.
Yeah, there's this cool there's like a cool pict here, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I gotta look at picking up some more role-playing games.
Nice.
So, last year I grabbed Legend of the Five Rings because of the one shot that Kev was going to do. And he gave me that Conan. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Conan's neat.
Conan is definitely cool.
Conan's sweet.
I gotta say that my favorite of the new systems I've been playing was the Wolves of God. That was fun.
Wolves of God is a great system.
Is that's Kevin Crawford, like Kevin Crawford OSR, like
yeah, it's
target number 20 type of thing. Like
it's actually it's ascending AC for combat actually, instead of original Stars Without Number was descending, but revised and Wolves of God are both ascending.
Okay, so it's like, I guess, like Swords and Wizardry.
Yeah. And then it's D20s for combat and 2d6 for out of combat skill use. So it's got an interesting kind of like obviously the target numbers change between them too, but the idea being that if you're not in combat, your bonus to your skill is more like bonus to the average, because 2d6 has an average roll versus d20 it could be anything.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a good system. Dragon Heresy.
I've been hearing a lot of talk about that.
And that's like 5e, but 5e with some revision to make it grittier.
It is 5e by a guy who does Viking swordplay stuff and wrote the grappling rules that I adapted for Grappling Grendel, because there are grappling rules in 4th edition Pendragon, but they kind of suck. They don't really work if you're not grappling a human opponent, which is kind of a bit of an oversight with something like this adventure.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Dragon Heresy is 5e, but with a number of changes to make it gritty.
Is that available on drive-thru, or is it a?
There's a PDF available on drive-thru, and then I think he did a Kickstarter, so it's through his website if you want a physical one. But Douglas Cole, who designed it, is on
Douglas Cole. Okay.
Discord, the Dungeon Musings Discord now, so you can ask him about it if you want.
So Chaosium, is that the producer or publisher?
Yeah, that's
Pendragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess now they are. They got it back.
They got it back from Nocturnal Media.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some cool. I might run something one of the conventions that I'm going to. Maybe Pendragon.
Nice.
We'll see. They're kind of trying to push. Because people always run Cthulhu, but they're trying to push 7th Sea, RuneQuest, and Pendragon. To play at conventions. The Cult of Chaos and those people for Chaosium. I did like Paladin.
Yeah, Paladin is a quality system.
Yeah.
Is it a lot different than Pendragon?
No, it is very similar. There's some kind of minor tweaks and changes. The big difference is that it is Carolingian, so it's Charlemagne instead of King Arthur, and it doesn't have the
And it
doesn't have
gold. Look at that gold.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
it doesn't have the Great Pendragon campaign for it, and it's a more Pendragon is kind of the term that I've heard before is henotheistic, which is like monotheism, except you accept that other gods might exist. They're just not your real god. Versus Paladin is really kind of like decisively Catholic. Like you cast miracles by praying to God, and there are non-Catholic communities who are pagans, and they're the enemy, right? The Saxons and the Saracens and everybody like that is not
and that's
included.
That's in Pendragon?
That's in Paladin. Pendragon is a lot more open. You can play as like a British pagan in Pendragon, and you're sort of looked at like, oh, that guy's kind of weird, but you're not like a heretic.
Yeah, Knights Adventurers. There's several characters that, oh, this looks pretty cool, and they play the like Jewish characters from France. You can play like a Jewish knight, which is pretty interesting. They like that.
Oh.
All right.
So, feast happened. It's now morning. Grendel has not arrived.
Wow. Should we go
Hrothgar.
check outside and see if there's any evidence of the monster moving around out there?
Nope. There's no footprints. There's no nothing. There's no like scratched walls. It's pretty clear. And he always comes to Herod itself. He doesn't attack any of the other buildings in the settlement or anything like that. He just attacks Herod. So
I was seeing if I threw my spear against the wall.
So Hrothgar comes back, and he's got Asher and Unferth with him, his counselors, and he takes command of the hall again, and they put the benches back in place and set it up like a regular day. And then Unferth, one of the counselors, remember the counselor who didn't like you guys so much, pipes
The
up.
young one.
Yeah, and he says, perhaps the brave warriors might appreciate a chance to fight Grendel in his lair.
Where his lair is?
My lord has known where Grendel's lair has been. I'm talking to this schmuck. And you've taken no steps to remedy your lord's honor? I look at Alfred to be like, help me understand how this is possible.
That does seem off if this guy knows where the lair is, but
If he knows how the lair is and has taken no steps to kill the creature,
didn't we hear that people have gone out and failed in the past?
my lord Ulfhild is hale and hardy, and seemingly knows where this creature lurks.
I want to see how this guy responds. How does he respond?
So Unferth, you can see that kind of the wheels are turning in his mind. He is not popular. The warriors of Hrothgar are kind of chuckling along as you interrogate him.
Yeah.
And Unferth says, "Oh, but it is very difficult to get to."
I understand, Miss Old. I've heard others. Many of the strongest and most capable of Danish warriors have already fallen victim. Perhaps more capable hands should deal with this task then, my lord Unford.
Seems trustworthy to me.
And I'll turn to...
Unford, do you know where this place is? You would be willing to take us there?
And so Unferth is clearly, he is kind of balked at the idea of actually going to the lair. And so Ashir, the other counselor, steps up and he says, allow me to take you at least to the fens where the monster's lair is located.
Indeed. And I'll shoot a look back at him too. This information perhaps would have been more helpful if provided yesterday. Less time could have been wasted.
And Hrothgar, he's sort of, very well, Ashir,
yeah,
take them to the moor. So if you remember, most of the island looks like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful, yeah. It's green, it's grassy, it's meadows and that sort of stuff. The section that you guys are going to looks like this top picture.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
It is this marshy, wet, saltwater fen, and it's boggy and it's just terrible.
Yeah. Yep.
You're stepping through it and your boots suck down into the mud each time, and you have to march through. It's as you're marching along, Ash here is pretty talkative. He's telling you about he first told you about Lethra, the town, at Harrod, and he talks a little bit about Hrothgar and his kind of... Ashir has been with Hrothgar a long time, and so he kind of knows the old history and the old days when they were raiders and not settled. And then he actually, I'm going to have Alfhid, why don't you roll battle, and it's going to be an opposed check versus him to see if you impress him with your kind of tactical command skills.
Okay, sure. Yeah. 13 out of 16.
Excellent. So he rolled
Nice.
a 1, which meant that as long as you succeeded, you would have gotten it. But he is definitely impressed by you and you guys. You in particular, Alfred. He's like, this is a serious warrior, and he is going to do. If you didn't know better, you might suggest that you're even becoming friends with this man. He's talkative and he wants to hear what you guys have to say too. He asks each of you about your homelands, your peoples. Talks a little bit when he even remembers Neowill's father and says some kind of kind words about what a brave man he was before Grendel took him too early. So Ashir is basically he's Unferth was a dick. Ashir is going to be really nice to you guys. And it's as you're walking along.
Are we able to press him on kind of why Ulfhild is such a cock?
So yes, if you ask him, he talks about Unferth. Unferth is witty and snake-tongued, so Hrothgar finds him useful, but he is not a... You may have heard the tale of Unferth slew a brother of his in a drunken rage, and it has weighed on him heavily ever since.
I see.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
So judging from his size,
And he
his
kind
brother
of realizes what he said, and he sort of gives you a look like you didn't hear it from me.
Okay.
All right. So you come to a stagnant pool, larger than this.
So I want to make
an
one
actual
more
pool.
chit chat about this too. Are we the first that he has guided to the fens?
No. He's guided several companies of warriors into the fens and all the way to the cave.
And all have failed thus far. What?
And all, yes.
So what? Rather than trying to drift against the current, what is the what have they not tried? Is there anything he can suggest that they did not? That no doubt they were all brave warriors. No doubt they were all well armed. No doubt they all came to test their steel and metal. What insight has he for us that they have not tried?
So he sort of thinks about this for a minute, and he eventually, it's a few minutes of quiet as he's sort of thinking through, and he says there have been many brave and valorous and doughty warriors. At some point, I'm sure all of you know that battle is not just a test of tactics or of decision making, but of muscle against muscle. That is all I can suggest, that Grendel must be overcome without there is not a he wouldn't say silver bullet, but he basically says there isn't a silver bullet or a special weapon or something that
Silver sword?
A silver sword
Yeah.
that will pierce through his hide or anything like that. There's just, it's battle, and Grendel is very effective in battle. Although he does mention that a number of brave warriors have fought Grendel alone, and though no one has been as successful, he suggests not to do that. It's a running theme, especially in the poem, the idea of community and the value placed upon having someone that you can trust by your side at all times, but especially in times of chaos and in battle. And he reiterates this idea that you need someone that you can count on with you to face Grendel. Grendel is alone, and that's his biggest weakness.
Okay. I appreciate it. I'll thank him. I appreciate your insight is valuable, and I appreciate your candor, or the candor with which it's been offered.
So it's at this point you come to a pool, a larger pool. It's circular and about 10 yards in diameter, so it's pretty big. You can see on the opposite bank there's a stag, much like the one on the Zealand thing. This one that is struggling in the mud, and as you watch for a moment, you can see kind of creeping up in the brush, there's a great dark gray, almost black wolf that you think is coming to hunt it down. And I'm gonna have everybody roll fairy lore.
Okay.
I got at least a decent chance at that. Unless I fall back into my nat 20 rolls.
Not, I have a pretty good one, but
Fail, but
I totally am. I get the fumble this time.
there's no narrative meta currency in this game, right?
There is not a narrative meta currency in this
Okay.
game. So,
Nice! We axe time.
No, I failed. I only have a 2.
Oh, shit, fuck.
Yeah, me as well.
Dang.
A great roll, but
nobody
it hurt.
knows.
Gosh.
Nobody has any kind of instant insight into what this means. Everybody who only failed but didn't fumble does have a sense that these are somehow allegorical creatures, and that's something that you just know about in the world. That
Yeah.
the animal world is structured in a way that reflects the human world as well.
Okay.
What are you guys going to do?
Let me look at my traits. I'm a little bit cruel,
Cruel.
but I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm more arbitrary and cruel, so I'm not sure if I would.
Yeah, I mean, I think from Elfrid's point of view, and especially since she totally didn't understand the allegory here, she's going to say, well, the wolf's got to eat.
Yeah, that's what kind of what I'm thinking too. Is like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think Newell certainly identifies more with the wolf than it does the stag. So I'll stop and not interfere with the. Although it's not well, I don't think we really care. We're Vikings. We don't really care about a fair fight. So if this thing's stuck in the mud, who gives a shit?
Yep.
All the more power for the wolf.
Admiring the wolf's good fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled against Merciful to see if Wolfgar would put the elk out of its misery, but nope.
Yeah. So, I'm taking the if Alfred's taking that
Yeah, I mean,
stance.
she's vengeful, and she's lots of vengeful and slightly cruel. So
Yeah. So what happens?
So the wolf, now that you've seen it, you can track its movement through the brush. It gets closer and closer until it leaps out of the brush and grabs the large stag by the throat and pulls it down and rips and tears at it and finishes it off.
Is it close enough for me to get with a spear?
Like to throw your spear?
Yeah.
It would be kind of a distant.
Okay.
It would be a difficult throw.
Well, I'm pretty fucking good at it, because Wolf may think he's hot shit, but I'm hotter.
All right.
I'm waiting for the wolf to fell the creature first, then I'm going for the wolf.
Okay, yeah. So the wolf takes down the stag, and then it sort of looks up, its muzzle all bloody at you guys. If you want to roll spear at -5,
Okay.
you can.
Sure. Let's see what happens.
And that's modifiers in this game are all modifiers to.
Boom!
your
3.
Nice.
Baby.
So why don't you roll? This will be the first damage roll. Why don't you roll damage?
Okay. Normal or normal, right?
Normal damage.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see here. I think this is right. 25.
Excuse me. Excellent.
Epic throw.
So you spear this thing and get it in kind of its hindquarters, and it sort of stumbles and starts dragging itself. You can see one of its legs is completely useless, and the other back leg is pretty badly injured. And it's doing its best to kind of crawl away using its front legs.
Can I catch it and put it out of its misery?
Yeah, you could run to the other side and just finish it off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Whoops.
So
hear the
and
wolf.
then I'm gonna have Ash here roll his fairy lore to see if he can help explain.
Sure. I don't think I can take this pelt, right? Like, we're in the middle of something. At the same time, I can. I think I knew it'll likely be satisfied enough to be the dominant one. If this thing's not with a pack, it's a rogue wolf anyway, right?
Yeah.
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 So, Neil succeeded at his fairy lore test, and
Okay.
he has kind of he and I'm assuming everybody else is sort of walking up after Neil ran up to finish off the wolf. And,
I'll do the same thing to the stag if it's still struggling.
oh, it's dead.
Okay.
The wolf, like this was a real wolves are big. This wolf is bigger than that. It basically like broke the stag's neck.
Okay.
Ash here looks at it and says, Harrot means heart. And you all know that's not just eating heart. That's also
H-A-R-T,
heart
yeah,
and
yeah.
then an animal.
Yeah.
But it specifically, he says it in a way that means both. He's counting on you to realize. And he says, you see, the wolf alone is not the hunter that the wolves pack is. If there had been many Neowol, I'm sure you may have felled one, but we would have been set upon by more, or they would have fled and lived to hunt another day.
This, I think I say that what's past for the heart cannot be undone, kind of gesturing to the thing. It says, but that is the last that will fall.
Ashir says, that's very good. And I'm sure that's true. And he leads you on further, all of you kind of
There's one more thing I want to do, too. I'm going to take the canines, just out things, and I'm handing one to Alfred and one to Weoxtan. Both of them have more glory than me, so...
Yes.
And I'm here for vengeance, not for glory.
Excellent. So he takes you further into this this moor and further into the fens, and it's getting harder and harder to traverse until eventually you come to this sort of, there's kind of a hill that rises up, and he takes you down to the bottom edge and leads you in, and you can see this is looking from inside out, but gives you a good idea of what you see. It's a sort of stony floor covered in water, and then at the deepest part of the cave there is a pool. You don't have to roll anything to know immediately. You've all been around water enough to know that this pool is not is deeper than you can see. It's sort of hard to tell in the light exactly how deep it is, but if one of you pokes a spear down into it, you don't hit the bottom.
So I guess I'm the one with the spears, so I'll...
What?
Or does everyone have spears?
I think most people have spears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Most of you guys are equipped like classic fantasy adventures with 3 or 4 weapons.
Not this cowboy. I got because I'm a crap with everything but a spear.
I've got 3 shields, 2 spears, 3 javelins. I've got like this big. I got a wagon.
Well, I guess I do have an axe and a dagger. I have no earthly idea why, because I'm not very good at either of those.
It was given to you by your mother. It was a kind of a gift.
Apparently, yeah.
It's just a...
it's just part of what you carry, because this is a warrior culture, and it's expected to have.
When they take the spear and the sword and stuff away at the door,
right?
Yeah, you get to carry your dagger.
Yeah,
right.
Fair enough.
You gotta eat with something.
Okay.
Right.
What does this cave smell like?
It is dank and musty, and there's a sort of hint of that kind of like decay, right? Like kind of like dead fish or something like that.
Okay.
You're not quite on the coast, but you're pretty close to it at this point. So that's not part of that. It's just the
I
sort of
asked our guide. So the Grendel lives in the pool.
Grendel and Ashir says several times. It took several assaults, but we were able to track Grendel through through the mire, and this is where the tracks ended each time.
Is it very well lit in here?
No, it's kind of like this. There's a sort of rocky shelf that is pretty well lit, but the pool itself is pretty much completely in darkness.
Okay.
So I ask, so who can swim? Because I sure can't.
I'm
Most
passable.
can swim.
I won't drown, but that's about it.
Yeah. That is an open question with me, actually. So, I got 40% chance. So it's not terrible.
Asher, when he hears you guys talking about swimming, he says, "It won't be any stain on your honor to return to Herod to fight him there. There's no one who got this far. No one has come back from trying to swim in the pool, and we know that Grendel attacks on feast nights. We can have another feast and hope that he comes.
None who face him on feast nights live to tell the tale anyway. This is a matter of how we die.
Well, what about is there outside the cave? Is there a place to a good place to watch?
Yeah, to lay an ambush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably lay an ambush somewhere.
Why endanger the people of Heorot? Where they,
Can we fill? What the? I saw in that picture of the fens. There's some trees in there as well, right?
Yeah. There's some trees and stuff.
Can we make some use of my axe here and maybe set up some stakes outside, so when this creature comes lumbering out, we can it won't be able to sneak past us. Just fill the ground out there with little sharpened things that hopefully he will not see. He comes stumbling out. We don't have to keep an eye out. We just, as soon as we hear him screaming, we lay upon him or lay into him.
Well,
so Asher does mention he knows that iron doesn't bite Grendel.
Oh, okay.
What about wood, though?
Wood.
So that's the question. He doesn't know if wood will work or not. Whether it's
at worst
some
will we
sort
hear
of magic
the breaking of the twigs or the breaking of wood?
Yeah, you could definitely hear the breaking.
What do you think, guys?
Steps through them.
I think it's a good plan.
So where the effort?
Okay. We're gonna have to call a bit of an audible, but I can do this.
Yeah. Okay. I'm back. Everyone froze for a second.
No problem. Let me hit. And there's a single sequence in this song where it sounds like there is a truck driving past your head. When it transitions to one thing.
The song.
No, I love it. It's a fine song. It sounds like the rumbling of a car, like a heavy truck going by. It's the timpani drums or something like that he's got
destiny.
in it. But
Neil, your destiny.
yeah,
You're gonna be
I can run over by a truck.
Driver.
Was a surprise ending. I'll give you that, Arlen.
Right. Would we have any torches on us? Weird Master?
Excuse me. You could definitely. You have enough time to go back to Hera and grab whatever you want before night falls. If you want to get torches.
Yeah. How long would it take us to get this stuff built?
So what I would suggest you do is probably split the party and send one or two back to Herod to grab stuff, and you could spend the rest of the afternoon digging some holes and putting some stakes in and all that.
So
sort of
not
stuff.
to be indelicate, but why don't we send the merchant and the singer back to do that, and the three of us will put our backs into this.
That sounds good. We probably need a lookout though, because the creature may not arrive on time.
He only comes at night, though. Yes.
Oh, is he only night? He's only seen at night.
Comes after. Is that right, Arlen?
People have only ever seen him at night. Certainly.
So if he comes out early, we have the three warriors here, and
just so you know, I am a warrior. Just because I sing does not make me.
Oh, sorry. I mean, what is Red here? Is Red here a warrior?
Yeah, Red here is definitely a warrior.
Is he? Why is your glory so low?
I guess he's just a warrior, not a Hulthane.
Yeah. Same for me.
Oh, so he's a hireling, right? Well, I thought that like the 3 heroes would stick around. I was trying to be indelicate, or to avoid being indelicate.
No offense taken.
So
We're all
you keep
warriors
the
here.
merchant safe on the way back right here. I don't think I would be necessarily insulting. I'm not a cruel man. So instead of saying just the 2 non-warriors, say, you know, right here, keep Wulfgar safe through the fens, and escort whatever the fuck the name of this guy who brought us out here was.
Ashir.
Ashir.
Wolfgar is a warrior too, so.
Well, we're going by glory, right?
Yeah, you're really not.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
send those 2 back, yeah.
Well, that's just because he's not royal. He's
It's standing in Viking things. I
Standing
mean,
in-
it would
yeah.
just, we wouldn't think,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not being
You're
mean, it's
lucky,
just that,
you're lucky Wolfgar is a very forgiving person.
yeah, you're really not. You're low on the totem pole, man. You're
Well,
you're
no,
going
I
to
mean,
do this. You're lucky we're not
Wolfgar's not
making you
gonna-
carry stuff.
Oh no, I'm just saying Wolfgar is not going to take it personally. That's what I'm saying.
And that's why you're not a warrior. Warrior would have fought for that.
When
That is fine. I will take him back.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, otherwise, what happens next, Arlen?
All right, so I am building a map for you guys in the swamp. Because, not to belabor the point, but in the poem, Beowulf fights Grendel in the hall. So we had a hall map, but now we have...
Take that, mysterious author. That's me thinking you're predestined, Pat.
Okay, let me finish grabbing your tokens. And
That was not to
then-
you, Arlen. That was to the...
No, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Oh, it was Arlen. Let's not even.
Oh, it was to the unknown author of Beowulf. Fuck you, buddy. Think you know a Western classic, first epic poem? We can do better than that.
Well, we were waiting for the monster to come, but he just didn't show up.
Yeah.
Right. We cooperated.
Yep, we tried it your way.
had he showed
One
up
time.
before the break.
Right. One time only.
All right. So you can imagine that this is sort of the hill area, and the cave is probably right here. And let me draw a sort of cave entrance for you guys. Yeah, I just bought it because I didn't have any good Finn's maps.
No, that's...
But that's okay. That's sacrifices that the DM is making to provide a good game.
Commitment.
Love it.
And Kevin buys a ton of maps, so. All right.
Yeah,
So,
I'm on a Patreon. Yeah, I subscribe to a Patreon, Seafoot Games. That guy usually puts out some good maps. So.
Nice.
Seafoot? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Seafoot. I think it's Seafoot.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of map makers I like. I just didn't. I was going through my library and didn't have one of Marsh's in the folder. So anyway, so this is sort of a kind of a rise. The cave is over here. Let me put this on the map layer.
Okay.
And you can put. I'll have you guys just draw like X's on whichever squares you want trapped. You can imagine that this direction, heading kind of southeast, is towards Harrod.
Southeast. Okay.
Kind of.
I mean, I was thinking like
this way.
I was sort of picturing the area immediately outside the cave, so that he can't, that he can't really avoid it unless he like sees it and leaps over it.
Yeah.
So, we don't know how this thing
But-
moves, I guess, but
Can we get these in without making too much noise? You start hammering stakes into the ground, that might alert.
if he comes
Him.
sooner, he comes sooner, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
my thought isn't that the stakes are going to take him down. The stakes are going to give us an opportunity to surprise him.
Right, but if we send half of our group away and then summon the monster by doing carpentry outside his door, is that the wisest move?
I'm not concerned.
Remember,
He comes after noise anyway in the evening.
New Will. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
The
I mean,
creature-
maybe we're making poor assumptions, but it comes at night after people are happy and feasting. not busily working.
And the creature's a
So-
coward as well, too. He comes when he perceives
Everyone's
vulnerability,
asleep.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm not concerned about it showing up. If it does, it does.
Yeah. All right. Right, so I guess that's Alfred, New Will, and who's the other person? The other glory person?
So like this.
Yeah. Works for me.
Yep.
Hammer, hammer, hammer.
Yep.
Steak, steak,
Yeah.
steak.
Mm.
So
we do
what
them like
can-
we do them like they do in 13th Warrior, who sharpen one end, and you hammer that into the ground, and then you just chop the tops off.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good with the dagger, so I'll be the
Nice.
steak, steak maker. So
Okay. And then, let's see here. Do Wolfgar and Redhear get back in time to help?
Yeah, they can help do finishing touches and that sort of stuff. They're going to be back before nightfall, certainly.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna turn my music down.
Yeah, I turned mine
Yeah,
down to
yeah,
Yeah,
scooch
sorry,
as well,
I'm
too.
turning it down a little. It got louder than I expected.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So, what happens next?
All right. So you guys didn't say specifically. I'm assuming one of the things you sent Asher back, he is going to tell Hrothgar have a feast and all that sort of stuff to summon the creature,
Yes.
right?
oh, nice.
Because you're not just expecting him to wander out of his lair. You want him to be heading towards Harrod.
Correct. That's what I was thinking.
We shall
Yeah.
intercept.
Yes. So, once again, there's a feast. You can maybe even you can't hear. You're too far away, but you can only imagine what sort of creature it is that his kind of foul sorceries or whatever kind of unique traits that this thing possesses can actually hear or sense the goings on in Harrod that is a fair distance away at this point. It's not like you guys can hear like off in the distance there's cheering and that sort of stuff. You're way out of that sort of distance. But let us see. All right. So once again, it gets later and later and later, and at some point it must be it's been kind of a while, kind of a hard day I'm picturing for those of you who stayed up all night, right?
Yep.
That this is a long day of work after
And marching.
no sleep and
Yeah.
all of that sort of stuff, and it's pretty rough for you guys. And perhaps it's it's that eerie way that, of course, something goes wrong once you stop paying close attention. Certainly, I think it was Neowell and Wigstan who stayed up all night.
Yep.
Yeah, for the two of you, it's at that point where you're just having trouble staying focused because you're
So I'm
worn
gonna
out.
see. Can I trigger my family love of family passion and try and use that to get a bonus? I think if you're gonna make us make an energetic check.
I'm not making you make an energetic check.
Oh, okay.
Right now, I will let you do impassion with love of family for the fight itself.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But it's at that point that you hear some sort of, it's almost a sort of slithering sound from inside the cave. This sort of something rising up out of the water, and it steps eerily, quietly out. You can see the hulking shape, and it steps right onto
Whoa.
Nice. Love it.
the stakes.
Okay.
They crunch underneath it. It's unclear whether they've actually pierced its foot or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this creature is among you now.
Nice. So
So-
what do we do next?
what we do next is we do combat. Combat is kind of like Ash, except with no initiative roll, in the sense that you declare what you're doing. You can move up to 10 times your movement rate as a free move. So if your move is 2, you can move 20 feet. If your move is 3, you can move 30 feet. These are all 5-foot squares.
Okay.
You can do a regular move and an attack, or a double move at a run.
Okay.
The thing is, one of the unique things about this is that all combat is opposed rolls. So it basically, combat rounds are a little bit longer in this system. So it's not like one sword stroke, one sword stroke, one sword stroke. It's more like a bit of back and forth sword play until somebody gets a chance with an opening to make their deadly strike after a bit of back and forth.
Okay.
The other thing, engaging with multiple people means that Grendel has to divide up his combat skills among the people that are engaged with him. So, for instance, if he has a, let's just say he has a 10 of grapple. Grapple is also your unarmed skill. It's for both punching and kicking and for actually grabbing a hold. And 2 people try to grapple him, he has to roll at grapple 5 against each of them. So that's part of why the whole thing Ashir was saying about like
Acting like a pack.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Okay. So let's
Had we ever settled on a plan?
grappling her.
Okay.
I had suggested grappling based on the Skald's poem and what Aesir told us.
Yep.
But I mean, that is that is Alfred's suggestion, since weapons are iron weapons do not affect it. I mean, once we get a grapple, I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. But
Can we choke?
So the way it works is that there are 3 grapple stages. There's unrestrained, which is basically just you've made contact with them, semi-restrained, and fully restrained.
Okay.
In unrestrained combat or in just regular fisticuffs, you do your damage dice -2, and that's -2 dice, not -2 to the roll. If you have him partially restrained, you get to do your damage dice -1. And if you have him fully restrained, that's like having his arm in like an arm bar or something where you can just break his shoulder.
Okay.
You get to do full damage dice and damage to Grendel.
Oh, I want to rip his arm off for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
oh man, okay.
So let's do this. Do you want us to type in what we're doing, or just say? Or
Yeah, I want you to type out what your action is.
And
for.
Invoking a passion, is that an action, or does that count as an action, or does that just happen? I don't remember.
Invoking a passion?
Right.
Invoking a passion is not an action. It's just it's a free action, basically. You can invoke and then do something.
Okay, so I guess I'll type it in here. So I will be using my loyalty, to give myself a loyalty to Lord to...
Is it an action to trigger that stuff, or is that...
No, it's a free action.
Okay, so I'm doing that as well, too.
And it gives you +5 to... Right,
well, if you're successful.
If you're successful, it gives you +5. If you crit succeed, you get +10.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
totally
if you
doing that, too.
fail,
And you can't passion a
Fail,
passion.
you get -5.
Okay.
You can't passion a passion, no. Yeah. All right, so everybody who is invoking a passion, why don't you roll it now?
Okay.
Loyalty to Lord.
Where is it? It's under...
For Rogoland!
I don't seem to have... Unless I'm looking...
on-
did I
on
not
the
fill out your
front page.
passion, right?
Well, where would I find it? It's under...
Oh, they're on the other... They're on
Stats.
your stats page instead.
Oh,
your
okay.
stat
Thank
page.
you. Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
bottom left of
For
your
my father.
spreadsheet.
Boom.
Nice.
Success.
Nice.
Success.
Everybody succeeded. Nobody critted. So all of your skills... Yeah. All of your skills go up by 5 points for
Sweet.
doing what you are impassioned to do.
Guys. What happens next?
If that takes you over 20, then we get a special rule where your crit range is increased by the amount over 20 it is. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
if you have a 25, what it does, basically the way it works is it's your roll plus the difference from 20. So if you have a 25, it's your roll plus 5. And if your final total is 20 or higher, you get a crit success. So you can get, so you can imagine that plus 10 bonus. If you were already at like 17 spear, you'd be at 27 spear and have basically an automatic success or a whatever 7 out of 20 is for a crit success.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
So
deadly.
Crit successing on 14 and up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris
but
is
it is opposed, you know, so you can get partial successes and all that.
it is still opposed, so there's limitations on it, and that's
So
what's
should
up.
we add? Should we
So
add it
now-
to our? We should just add it to our number in the skills page, right?
So now we all rush into grapple them. We all roll grapple checks.
Everybody move up to where you're grappling him from and roll grapple checks, and then I am going to make some defensive grapple checks.
Okay. Where's my grapple? There it is. Okay.
I'm going for his legs.
I'm trying to assist the Maywolf to rip his arm off.
Failed.
All right, so
Ah,
grapple is not good with all of you there.
I mean, I put 5 into my modifier. Is that the way to do it?
Mhm.
Yes.
yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of the best way
Alright.
to do it.
I mean, you guys at least hit. I did not.
Because I should have. So I succeeded.
Ooh.
Let me see this.
Oof.
Because that would make my skill an
Nice.
18, and I rolled
So-
a 14.
Alfie succeeded with a 7 out of 13.
Nice.
All right, so he only had 3 people who succeeded against him. So he's going to. That is not good for him. Either is that.
Like it. Like it.
Not that one.
Yeah.
He's struggling.
And that is not as good a success against Alfhid, who was the last. So Alfhid did succeed. So what he did, his grapple, to let you kind of look at the math behind the screen, his grapple is 20. So he's rolling at a 4 against each of you, which is pretty good for you guys because he only succeeded on one of his rolls and he only succeeded with a 2 versus Alfhid's success with a 7.
Okay.
So, everybody who succeeded, you've got him partially restrained.
So do we do damage at this point, or does it matter?
You have to. What you do is you decide on your turn whether you're improving your grapple or you're doing damage, but you can't do both.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So next time we do that.
Okay.
So you can. So yeah, when you. So we're going to declare again, and you guys should choose.
Does Grendel not have an action too?
His action was to attempt to grapple all of you.
Oh,
what
I see.
So like if he succeeds, we probably get something bad can happen.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like we get our heads ripped off.
Like we get our arm ripped off. Or
Okay.
ripped off.
So I'm feeling left out of this. Here we go.
Does our inspiration
Scream.
continue?
There we go.
The inspiration
Success.
continues, correct?
Inspiration continues to the end of the fight.
Yeah. Ah!
Hold him down, lads. Hold him down.
Oh, Neil, you got to declare with and right here.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I grapple.
Grappling.
Yep.
You.
I'm gonna improve. So I guess I'm gonna try to improve the grapple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Nah, I just grappled.
Okay. As opposed to doing damage, and then when I get
Mm.
a little better. Okay. So do we go? Are we
Yes.
ready?
Yes,
Go?
now you can go.
Okay.
All right.
Damn it.
So attempt to improve my grapple. 8 out of 13 for Alpha.
Nice.
To improve her grapple.
If we fail to improve our grapple, do we just lose it?
Yes. That
If
is
you fail to improve and he succeeds,
Nice. We're actually.
Oh,
Rich.
Roxanne got an 8.
Awesome.
Eight versus 8.
you get to get 2 levels. So you're at the second level grappled.
Nice.
All right.
There's much glory in this.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. Neil, you got a 5 out of 13, which is a success.
Yep.
Kendall rolled a 4 on his skill of 4, which is a crit. So he has the better success against you.
Ooh. Okay.
He's going to do his damage.
Doesn't he have to grapple first?
Hmm?
Does he have to get a hold first?
No, he can do the lesser damage or get a hold.
Oh, okay.
He can do like the -2 damage, right? Minus
Okay.
2d6.
So he's throwing elbows instead of.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
he's
clawing.
hitting you with his claws. He has these big. They look almost like dagger points. These huge claws.
Okay. Bring it on.
All right. Let's test out everybody, and then I will just roll damage for that. So Red here, that's a fail. So you improve. That's another fail for Wolfgar. Wolfgar doesn't succeed. So Wolfgar, you're still at the first level, right? Because you succeeded last time. Alfhid, that is a success, but it's not as good as yours. And Wiakstan, you get to get the double level.
Nice.
So only doing damage. He's able to rake. And Neo, you had 1 level of grapple on him already, right?
No, I missed the first time.
You missed the first time. Okay. I was going to give him a penalty to damage based on you already being in close with him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, unfortunately, I got not up.
Okay.
I do have 10 points of armor, though.
Do us holding him? Oh, do us holding him restrain him though?
So after this, you'll be able to just do damage, and he is totally restrained. But it's after this turn.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Bring it on.
Come on, Newell.
So I'm sorry about this, but
Yeesh.
Oh shit.
Well, I take 22, so I'm not. Oh, that is a wound then, right?
do you take 22 or do you take?
So
Is that including your shield or not including your shield?
That is not including my shield. Well, I've got, I don't know, my armor says 4 plus 6.
Okay, so the plus 6 is your shield, so your armor is only 4.
Okay.
Oh, but he got a partial success, right? This time around.
Oh, well, but he can't have his shield
yeah,
and
yeah.
be
Gotcha.
grappling.
Okay. So then I take 28. I'm still not dead.
Wow, you got a lot of hit points, man.
I can't adjust my hit points.
Because it's derived, so you have to just put it into. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you have to put it in as a wound instead of adjusting your hit points directly.
Okay. Where do I do that?
Neowil on stats over
Here.
on the far
Yeah, that
right.
worked. That worked. Okay.
Okay, so that's a major
That's a
wound.
major wound, yeah.
How many
Yeah.
hit point? How much health does
30.
Man.
So, and then you also have to check Constitution to see if you just go unconscious.
Okay, let's
because
see here.
you're below.
Do I get the bonus for my family thing to that as well?
Sure.
Okay. Nope, not unconscious.
Not unconscious. So you are still up.
Only because of the drive for my family.
Inspiration.
Family's keeping you going.
It is, yeah, because that would have been a failure if it wasn't for that bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
your
you're
father-
in really bad shape, to be clear.
Yep.
But you're still alive. You'll also check chirurgery needed.
Yeah.
Because that's the old-timey name for surgery.
Yeah.
Which is basically to say that you can't heal that wound with first aid. You have to have somebody go in and sew you back up because you're so badly
Where am I
ripped up.
here? Well, I can't defend my character. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, so chirurgy.
I guess we
that.
could do like first aid to like stabilize, right? But we can't heal him.
So, what is the other effect of? Is that the effect of major wound? Is that I need a chirurgeon to get to me?
Yeah, so you need chirurgery needed. In some versions, it also gives you a penalty to everything that you do, but not in 4th edition.
Not in 4th edition. Okay.
And that's the one that this adventure is written for, so we're going to play with those rules.
Love it. Okay.
All right. Grendel is completely restrained at this point. Both of his arms are grappled and both of his legs, I think. So you guys can just straight roll damage if you succeed at another grapple check.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
Grapple. How much damage does grapple do?
Grapple, when you're at fully restrained, it does your full damage dice. Of,
Holy crap.
That's the idea is you've got him like locked in an armbar or
Yeah.
something. You're gonna break his shoulder.
Boom.
Alfred 9 out of 13.
Failed again.
Succeed.
I got a 1.
Failed.
A 1 is good, right?
You got a 1 is definitely good enough to do damage.
Mm.
All right, everybody who succeeded, roll your damage.
Is that a?
So just straight 66.
Where is that?
66,
Is
if that
damage
is
on the
your.
sheet?
Straight bottom left under derived statistics for damage. Because my
Damage, if you're looking on the Roll20 sheet, is under stats.
Is it? Yeah.
Yep, the first tab.
Yeah.
All right, 16, not bad. 16 points for little Alfred there.
Pretty good.
Oh, I got 2 1s. Damn.
Take.
That is 40.
Hey, we're all pretty consistent. 16,
Yeah.
15,
All right.
16.
Yeah.
You guys can see his hit points, right?
Yeah.
Or you
You
can
see the bar. Yeah, hasn't gone down.
bar.
though.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Let me update the bar.
Here it comes.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
Holy shit! Well done, guys.
Yeah. Nice job. So, he's going to get a chance to try to escape to reduce your grapples. So let me roll for that real quick, but it's unlikely that he's going to be able to do anything because he keeps rolling high and his skill is only a 4. Oh,
Pack tactics.
Right.
pack tactics. Nice job, guys.
Yeah.
All right, he was not able to reduce any of your grapples, so everybody who has him fully restrained, you can roll grapple again and roll your damage.
Get in here, New Will. Help finish him for your father.
Yep, because I sure shit ain't doing it.
Well, you've got like a gaping,
Yeah.
huge, yeah. So
Right,
it's
you
not.
gotta-
It's
You
understandable.
gotta put your entrails back
Yeah.
in.
Oh, I failed.
Come on.
Okay, I made it just barely.
Oh, thank God.
Nice.
Some damage.
Right
Boom.
here, I think you're on the right
Alfred
arm,
makes it.
aren't you? Yes, you're on the right arm, and you twist it, and it goes further and further and further until you hear this horrible wet pop sound, and you can feel that his shoulder has just shattered and it's broken. It hangs uselessly by his side. It's not like completely. You haven't ripped his arm off with your bare hands like the hero of the poem might. But and Alfhild, you're on the other arm,
left
and you
arm, yeah.
tear at it too. Don't get quite as loud of a pop, maybe, but you definitely get that crunching noise as the other arm.
Yeah,
Grendel,
Most likely she's using like the Grendel's weight against him since she's so small. And just
yep. Grendel lets out a screeching wail, this kind of horrible noise that everybody is going to roll Valorous at -5.
Okay. Do we get to add our passion to this roll as well?
You do not get to add your passion to this roll at this point
Okay.
because he's basically, you
made
can
it.
tell that he's basically dead.
Still made it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And is there like can you do minus? Is that how that works?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
Yeah, you can type in the minus.
It's only when you
-5.
get plus that it fucks up on roll 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
No,
it basically
Alfred is not.
reduces my valor score.
Reduces your valor score by 5.
temporarily.
I failed.
All right. Alfred and Weokstan, you both instinctively release Grendel himself. You let go of the grapple. You can tell that he's basically on his last legs at this point, but
I'm
you
on one
just
of them.
can't stand to hold on anymore. Everybody else, he's going to attempt to drag you down into the cave and into the pool if you're going to hold on to him, which you're allowed to do because your Valorous score is high enough, but you have to decide.
I actually haven't grabbed him, so can I try and jump on him?
Sure, you could roll grapple again to try to jump on him as he
Okay.
goes down into the
And
cave.
the
And
one,
into the
those
pool.
of us that failed, we just have to step back, right?
Yeah, those of you that failed, you just instinctively step away.
Fucking
I'm checking-
14 again. I rolled 14 three times in a row.
And 20 like 8 times in a row.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
But you
failed,
got a
I
crit.
failed my reckless check, but I critted my prudence, so I'm letting go.
Okay. So Wolfgar, Alfid, and Weokstan are not holding on. Neowil has failed to grab a hold.
Yeah.
Right here, what are you doing?
Is it? And will I be able to fight him in his dragging attempts? When
Hold him back?
Yeah.
You can't actually stop him from. You can dig your heels in all day, but he's a whole lot stronger than you are. You're basically along for the ride if you're holding on to him.
I'm holding on.
You're holding on.
Nice.
All right. So let me do
19 vows.
some
Time.
changes to Red here and Grindel. Grindel ought to be. There we go. Delete that and put him on the token layer. All right. So I'm going to move us over. Right here, you're the only one who can actually see this right now.
Okay.
But Grindel pulls you down, and it feels like it's forever. Your lungs are bursting by the time that you get out. Suddenly, after you think you're just going to have to let go and maybe even drown because you're so far underneath in the water, and then suddenly you can breathe again. And you've come up into this cave, and this blue section is all water. Because it has a little bit of water on the map, but I drew in more. And you're on a sort of low rocky shelf. It's an inch or two deep of water where you are. Grindel hurls himself up onto the rocks itself of this cave and cries out again, and then falls. If you had to guess, he's probably unconscious because he just sort of slams into the ground, and you're pretty certain that he is dying of his wounds. But that's not the thing. He also seems to be somehow sort of supernaturally smaller. You can see that his token takes up 4 squares instead of 9. And it's as if, as he's dying, some of this sort of energy of Grindel has collapsed in on itself, and he is no longer quite as hulking and brutish. But if you were not a hardened warrior, you might even call him pitiful. But what you also see is this one.
Trouble.
And that is another Grindel kind figure.
Bigger,
back to full size. This one has kind of longer, shaggy hair and a little bit of almost like the ragged remains of clothing. Has what would be for her, it's like a dagger sized, but it's like a long sword in hand. And so Grindel screeches out once again, collapses to the floor, and Grindel's mother steps forward. What are you gonna do?
Does she look upset?
Yes.
Thank God, he was such a pain in the ass.
It's about time somebody got rid of that little bastard.
She's not stepping forward to reward me, I take it.
No, she's not stepping forward to reward you.
Is this what is this over here? Is this a sword in the stone over here? What is this one?
It is not in the stone. It is a sword kind of lying against one of the stone walls. It's massive. It's like 5.5 feet long. It has this kind of incredible workmanship quality. The hilt is all made of gold, and there's gems studded in it. You might even think that it is made by some craftsman who surpasses what mortal men could now possibly craft. Maybe even some kind of giant kind that would be, Grindel's family before declining to Grindel status.
When you say it's an oversight, do you mean like Claymore or Zweihander, or do you mean like it's not built for human sized?
I mean, like, it's a longsword built for somebody twice as tall as a person.
Got it.
So it's not really like
It's
not really like
the handles can be all fucked up and the
Claymore.
balance will be all
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, right here is going to be a bit tortured because his instinct is to fly forward into battle, but given the lessons we just learned, just happened of the rule of the pack as far as these creatures go, what does he recall from his underwater voyage? I mean, can he make it back?
Maybe. You feel how good is your swimming?
Not drowning a little? 5. It's a 5.
It's 5. Okay, so your sense is that it would be a serious struggle, but maybe it's better than dying in this cave.
Right.
What's worse is getting caught by her partway underwater.
Right. That's not good.
You can't wield that sword, it looks like, right? It sounds like.
Yeah, no.
Well,
he's not really a sword guy either. That comes into play. He's an axe guy.
But what if the sword shrinks like he changed sizes? What if there's some kind of magic?
Or what if he turns into a giant?
What if you become as big as Grendel's mother?
I don't know if he has. He doesn't have time for all that. He's just going to. He's going to decide. He's attracted to the sword, but not necessarily for combat because he's an axe guy, and he is. He's going to try to make it back. Given that we just defeated actually pretty handily, Junior, through the laws of the pack. He's going to overcome his instinct just to fly against Mother. In rage in a sense. So he's going to try to make it back in the water. He's going to quickly dive back in.
All right. Give me a swimming check.
Okay. The inspiration, is that over?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And you're trying to survive at this point. You're not really inspired for the fight the way you were before.
Roger that.
Yep. Okay. Where is everybody? Everybody else on this map? Arrange yourselves where you want to be. Whatever you're doing when Raid here went into the cave with Grendel.
Well, if we can, I'm going to go up to try to look where he went.
Yeah, I think standing at the edge of the cave, kind of panting and
arrange
glaring.
yourself for where Raid here's drowned corpse floats back up to the top.
Flying up.
Right, is this is where the entrance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you're standing around.
Oh, maybe like put the butt of the spear in there to, if he comes up, can we? I don't know.
You're standing around at the entrance, and you're looking in. Nothing is happening, and then the pool starts to kind of surge and twist, and there's clearly something going on down there. And then up floats a body, and it is right here. And if you check him, he's not dead. He's just unconscious.
Okay.
But he's dropped all of he left his gear behind up here. But you can, does anybody have first aid?
Yes.
To revive him?
I have 6 in it.
I have 11.
Same.
I have
a
8.
6.
Who's got 10? Alfred's got 10?
Somebody at 11?
11.
11.
The Alpha.
Not
Alpha,
10,
get in there.
better. 11, like Spinal Tap level.
Yeah, get in there.
All right.
I'm gonna watch the water.
She starts like she tries to do the first aid that she's been trained to do as near the water to get water out of people's lungs, and it does not work.
Okay.
You try and coax the evil spirits out.
Yeah.
Out, water spirits!
Down on
Out!
his chest.
Quick, apply
So-
leeches! Yeah.
Right here, you're going to take some drowning damage as a wound.
Okay.
It's not nearly as bad as getting swiped by Grendel's claw, but your armor won't protect you. So you're going to take a 7-level wound.
And how do I know on the first page stats upper right?
Yes.
So
And
I
then
type in
reduce
7?
your hit points by.
Type in 7 in the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Excellent.
Do I check the box?
Alpha, do you want to try again? Or do you
Yeah,
want to
if I
let somebody
can.
else go?
If I can try again, I will.
Yeah, you can try again. You
anyone else?
basically try again until he's completely drowned.
Oh, jeez.
And this will be, we're kind of abstracting it. We're imagining the damage to drowning is happening while he was underwater, and we're trying to see how much actually
Took place.
happened.
Okay. I'm 6 out of 11 this time.
But excellent. Red here is back awake. He coughs up just kind of lungfuls and lungfuls of water. But he is back awake and among the living.
Nice.
What do you guys do?
What happened?
What happened?
What'd you see?
Is the creature dead?
Yeah, that's the important bit.
Well, in the words of wise Hrothgar, there is good news and there is bad news. Which do you wish first?
Bad.
The good, the glorious.
The good is that Grendel has perished.
Aha!
The bad news is his mother is larger.
What?
No.
His mother is not. His mother is the size that he was when he was out here. He
This
shrunk
is how
down.
I'm telling the story.
Okay. Yes.
I beg your pardon.
You're welcome to tell the story however you like.
that is
I just wanted to
irrelevant,
clarify.
Arlen, to my
Oh,
story.
Okay.
Wolfgar says we should get the hell out of here.
I have avenged myself on and I think it maybe like I'm standing there, maybe leaning on the spear, and I stumble a bit and hit the ground, but then bring myself back up again.
I say we fight. No, I don't say we fight. Ah!
Actually, yeah, good call. Let's see here.
So roll. Now I got to roll opposite just to see if
Yeah.
I'm cowardly.
My
Yes.
first instinct as a player was to stay and fight, but this is Wolfgar, not me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
Maybe I'm indifferent. Who knows?
Fuck him and fuck his mother.
Yeah, I failed both, so I'm not jumping at the opportunity, but I'm not also looking to go back.
I'm
Still
looking
maybe trying to
down.
figure this out.
As injured as I am, I'm looking down at the surface of the pool of water, waiting for her to come out.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
She did not seem pleased at the treatment of her son.
Wait for the treatment we give her. I did nothing to help kill Grendel, so
No.
once
you were
again
there,
taking credit for shit I didn't do.
But you took a shot. You took a blow. That's
Yeah,
part
you
of
bled.
part of the team. We
You bled.
fought as a group.
True.
So,
is there any way
Wolfgar,
to patch up Newell?
Trap for the
You-
wolf. I see now. I was
we
the
can-
stag.
so Wolfgar
Can we do
says inches
something?
his way back, but then he steels himself and says, if she comes, we'll slay her.
Can we bind his wounds?
Yeah. Is there
Yeah.
a
So
way
you
to,
could roll first aid on Neil.
someone else want to do it?
I
mean,
spare a moment to look over at Wolfgar and say, I misjudged you. You are a warrior.
Alfred, you seem to have the strongest knowledge of this Kyrgen, so I would let you go ahead.
I will attempt to patch up that bleeder on Newell.
It's only a flesh wound.
Yes.
There you
6 out
go.
of,
Okay.
All right.
Like,
So what
a
happens
DC
now?
or something?
You get to heal 1d6 damage from the wound. So if you'll roll a d6,
Yep.
it'll be 1d6 less. You still need surgery, but
So you
you're
want me to roll, or are you going to roll, Kevin?
not gonna
Got it. 3.
Got it.
burst open the
Great.
bandages or something by walking around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, assuredly Newell it will reopen if we fight again, but
You mean when?
when?
Okay.
All right. So do we wait? So are you going to wait around to stab her with spears, or do you think she's? the
I'll
same?
grab a stone and toss it in the water.
Yeah.
So you
Bang on
toss,
bang on our shields. Get her up here.
yeah, you toss a stone into the water. The other guys retrieve the shields, banging on the shields, making lots of noise, and it of course echoes ridiculously inside the cave. Nothing is coming up. There's sort of the water seems there's something kind of agitated in it, in the sense like there's movement happening in it, but you wait and wait and wait, and I assume you're gonna wait like up to maybe an hour,
Yeah.
and still nothing has come out of the pool.
Was there, Radier, was there any other way out of the cave that you could see?
I did not get far in it, but I did not see one.
What if there's another way and she circles back to take her wrath out on Herod?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the Lord of these lands need know of this development.
Yes.
So we fall back to the hall.
And shall we wait until the break of dawn and then head back? We can have the light lead us.
Well, what if it is as who said that? Roxanne or Wolfgar?
Wolfgar.
No, it said that there could be a back entrance.
Oh.
Who's,
Well, I just, caves don't always.
no, well,
Yeah.
well, I addressed whoever said that and said, well, if it is as you say, and there is another entrance, then this creature could be going there now. So I feel like we should fall back.
Agreed.
Tell
now.
her the death of Grendel.
With great haste.
I would offer, though, that if she was going to give pursuit, I think she would have pursued me right into the water in her rage.
I'm going to look on the ground around where the grappling and the wrestling took place. Was anything broken off of Grendel? Any fang or claw or horn or carbuncle on his body? Anything that we can bring back that is tangible proof that we engage this thing, apart from my wound?
All right.
We bring his thumb! Ah.
I guess it is true.
Not exactly Beowulf, but what are you going to do?
We might have to go down there and...
You could make it a roll.
There's a reason.
So there's definitely there's signs of a struggle around, right? So
Yeah.
if you brought somebody here, they would be able to tell that a fight happened here.
But no evidence?
But there's no you might even have a sort of those of you who grappled, there's a sort of weird, almost kind of a slimy feel to your hands. That if you looked at in the light might be something, but you didn't actually like rip anything off of him.
His skin didn't break, right?
His skin didn't break. You just
might have to go-
heard the sound of bones crunching.
All the blood belongs to Newell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all Newell's blood on the ground.
Exactly. How about this bit? No,
guess
that's
we're gonna
mine
have
too.
to-
And this one over
we're
here
gonna
is
have to go-
still me.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have to go in there and retrieve the body, huh?
I think he either takes us at our word or not. I mean, if a creature looking exactly like Grendel shows up again, we're going to look like we're liars.
Are
Well,
any of you...
we
Go
can
ahead.
come back tomorrow or in a couple days when you're healed up and take on the mom.
I'm going to assume that this is like... I was just looking at the wounds in Paladin, which are way more punishing than they are in 4th.
Yep.
I'm going to be like months laid up. It's going to be like a long fucking time before I'm ready to get back in. If we need proof of this,
Well, they've seen what Grendel looks like, right? And the Grendel's mother looked different because of the clothes and the weapon, and it's not the exact same creature.
Did she look different, Ra?
So you told me, Arlen, that she had some... Her outward appearance was different, right? Because the clothes.
Was a little different, yes.
Okay.
Not-
How about underneath?
So there's like obvious anatomical differences. You know what I mean?
Is she
She had boobs. She had
Yeah.
boobs.
boobs?
Otherwise, how we know it was the mother? It could have just been something
So,
else.
you have a sort of sixth sense in the same way that, like, you know, characters with 16 something, it's just inherent to the world that you can sense that.
Yeah.
You have a sort of sense that she has a different kind of right here. You're the only one who really gets.
She's
it.
got 17 in Helicopter Mom?
No, but she where Grendel had just kind of complete raw brutish strength, she has a sort of cunning to her, and you can just sense that from even your kind of quick glimpse of her in the shadowy cave. You can tell that there's a different feel to this creature.
Can
Okay.
any
Do we
of
need
you
to just
swim?
go in? Do we need to go in and just finish her off?
How's everyone swimming?
Bad.
5.
Not terrible.
Oh, Wolfgar.
I could try and trigger hospitality. So what I'm thinking is, like, my Newell's not pure-minded. His deceit is higher than his than his honest. So I think that he would know of people might bragging, and what he would not want to be mistaken is of someone who's coming in and bragging of that he'd killed this thing, and then have a creature that could easily be mistaken for the creature they say they slew.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's very convenient if you say, we killed the monster, but there's another. It looks just like it.
Exactly.
Right.
And as much as I don't know what my take on Red here is, I haven't seen Grendel dead with my own eyes. So if another creature shows up, I don't know how truthful Red here is.
Yeah. I think we
Why
gotta
don't
go
we
in.
just search the area to see if there's another way in. Just because they use this one entrance doesn't mean there's not a second, third.
I mean, it's a little bit risky too, but it's a possibility Wolfgar with his 12 could take a swim down for a look-see.
And die horribly.
No, we
Hey, what's with all the...
either
You know how you get those
Either
does
we
glory
stay-
number up?
Right,
Mhm.
right.
I know.
we stay together.
My Valorous is 15. I think I say fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, as
Alfred
injured
is
as I
also
am,
valorous.
yeah, like I just...
Wolfgar is being highly prudent. He's like, I'm not going down there alone.
Oh, we go together.
I'll clasp it, your shoulder and look down. You will not.
Today is the day.
Yeah.
Yes. Our fate
Well,
was
let's
set
let-
long ago.
Tonight-
There's no sense...
Tonight we feast in Heorot as heroes, or in Valhalla also. as
Agreed.
Let's see how he goes with Valorous. Oh yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
He wasn't
do
feeling like he failed reckless, but he's
Okay.
like, you know
Is there
what?
a way
Screw
that
it.
Wolfgar can help us swim down there?
Yeah, here, Wolf. Weoxan, get us jazzed up for this roll. Can
Yeah,
you,
we
can
need
you
a
pump
speech.
us up here and
Speech.
give us like a one-time boost
Speech.
to our swimming?
Speech.
Here's what I'll do. I'll let Wolfgar.
You all drown and we're done. There's a reason the poem's called Beowulf, not any of you motherfuckers.
No, there isn't a way for Wolfgar to really help you out with swimming. You can hope that. So right here, one of the things that you could feel is that both times they're sort of current to whatever is going on here, and it felt like it was pulling you and Grindel in to some degree, and it was pushing you out when you came out. So if you had to guess, there's some kind of her magical sorceress properties control this thing that I'm trying to find a way to tell. I don't know how you would know for certain, except that you might be able to guess that if she wants you to come into the cave, that she'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Okay.
So this will be harder then to get down there since it's going towards her.
No, it could be harder, it could be easier, depending on whether
What
or
she
not
wants.
she wants you to come into the cave.
But it's my thought that when I tried to swim away, that she wanted me away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Fuck it. Let's call out to Odin and try and because there's not really a way of like invoking the gods. In
Yeah, is
this,
there a
right?
way to inspire anyone else? Can we inspire each other? Is there anything like that? You know, like someone give a hearty speech.
Yeah, like
or,
What I'll
like
let
an
you
aim
do
mechanic
once
or
you
something.
actually get into it, I'll let Alfid. One of the things that I was planning on doing is that Alfid could roll battle for one round instead of actually fighting, and could essentially tactically organize all of you and give you an advantage on that round.
Oh, right, like a skirmish.
Listen very carefully to this plan. Do not drown.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, Alfid
Got
can't
it.
really help you with the swimming part.
Not the
Yeah.
swim-
Okay. Fuck
swimming
it.
part, yeah.
No guts,
So
no
maybe
glory,
Wolfgar can
guys.
help. He has the biggest. Okay, let's do it.
Let's do this.
I guess we just don't fumble and become
Do you guys
unconscious.
still want to?
but
Do you guys still want a speech?
yeah,
yes,
give us the
Wolfgar.
speech.
Give us the speech, Wolfgar. Teach us how to swim, my friend.
If you got a real long straw, I'll take that too.
Garden hose.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
die
man.
because I only have like.
That is something that would be kind of neat in Landed Giants if they did have like some way to invoke the gods. Just like kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems in general the culture was pretty spiritual, right? So-
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
If you've got magic and whatnot in Paladin, it seems like something. There's a way of doing
Well,
it.
and that is one of the kind of interesting things. So one of the things I didn't talk about, the poem of Beowulf that we actually have, there probably was a pagan version that existed. The poem that we have is explicitly Christian,
Christian, yeah.
which makes it kind of odd the way that they've adapted it to
Right, 'cause it was-
pre-Christian.
Because it was like it was written like after Iceland was, right? I thought that's when it.
Yeah, the actual copy that we have was written down pretty late. And
Yeah, after 1000.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, Neil rolled swimming. Whoever else is going down, why don't you roll swimming?
Well, Wolfgar is going to start taking off like the heavy bits of his armor because this is useless against the monsters. So he's gonna go in there.
Kervoli is.
Yeah, I beg to differ.
I was looking for a passage from Beowulf that I could just kind of rattle off to you guys,
Yep.
make it sound
Yep.
inspirational. But
Nice.
It's been a while since I read it,
See
so
if we can do this. Oh yeah.
Nice,
Nice.
Hrothgar. Very nice. Me and right here drowned though, so
Right. Wolfgar can carry our corpses
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
where they can be celebrated.
Outfit fails also. It does not drown.
like explicitly non-heroic ending. Let's get them. Yeah. Good.
we
So
all get
bodies
into the
come
water and go
Bobbing up in the mom's lair.
Right.
We accidentally.
let's take another break here because this is a good and that'll give me a chance to put together everything.
Arlen wants us to take a break so
what
we can
time are we
talk about what we
playing
did wrong.
We have
6, right?
probably like 30 minutes left in the adventure.
Okay. Nice.
Maybe a little more, but
Because I got shit I got to get done today too.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I will do my best to keep it to 30 minutes max.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's take a break.
Back in a moment.
It's gonna be such a cluster.
fellas.
So,
I gotta say, a 44-pound shirt of chainmail is not too bad. Not too comfortable. Not too uncomfortable.
So you'd sleep in it?
I don't know about sleeping. Might make rolling over and breathing a little difficult.
Since players so often try to sleep in their armor, as we know.
Yeah, that'd be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
none
That's
of
why
them know.
there's rules
Yeah.
about
Right.
donning and removing armor.
Yep.
They just don't know, do they?
No. Even just walking around in this is like, you know, it's workable. But if you had to like bend over to pick something up, you could freaking throw your back out.
Pretty heavy, huh?
Yeah. Although the rings, I made a really tight weave, and the rings are a little more dense than they probably would have been. But still,
Oh, so you made it.
yeah. Even if this was like bigger rings and thinner wire, it'd probably still be like 30 pounds just for the
Oh,
shirt.
sorry about that.
Wow.
All right. So what is going on now? I'll wait for Carl.
Yep.
Oh.
Are you gonna play like Drowning by Backstreet Boys now?
No, please don't. We'll get a copyright strike. Oh, boy. Okay. Ouch. Ooh.
So the music that you play has to be something that you've paid for access to, or
No,
you-
it's something that is
open source.
Yes. Yeah.
What would you think of the chances of them minding if no money, if it wasn't a commercial?
I have
thing.
two things that are not copyright strikes, but they're copyright claims all on things that are like little clips of it's the jazz thing that we'd had before. So there's because you can search for the music using an algorithm now. You don't even have to be listening to the things. It's just not worth it.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Back if we're waiting for.
Not worth it.
I have good news before we get going.
Which is?
If I can share. I just got a internal grant to study some stuff in Parkinson's disease.
Fuck! Good for you, Carl. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's terrific.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's good. It's like a pilot grant internally, but
Yeah.
hey, it's $50,000 and can help.
Hell yeah. Good for you.
Sweet. Yeah.
That's great. I'll
I
raise a
would- I'll tell
coffee
you
to
the-
you.
I could tell you the title, but I don't know if it. I'll have to figure out what a better title that you guys might understand. So Parkinson's disease, there's the types of neurons that are messed up are neurons that transmit or use dopamine.
Okay.
So I'm going to look at these types of neurons in my model system, which is worms. The worms that I study also have dopaminergic neurons, and I'm going to study a pathway that involves oxidative stress pathway that is triggered, and see how that is important in a model of the Parkinson's disease that I'm creating in the world.
Cool. Very cool. That is a bit above
Sweet.
my head, but it definitely sounds like the kind of paper title that would be above my head anyway. So that works.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
you're a lawyer, so you have. Your own
I
jargon,
got
too.
my 2 degrees, 2 other degrees of social science, not actual science. So I cannot help with that.
Anyway.
Okay. Cool.
But that's cool. That's some cool good news. I was wondering about it, like, cause I put it up way back in September. So.
Yeah. Oh shit.
All right. Well, let's all drown or kill the mother.
Yeah. I think I drowned. Oh, you're muted, Arlen.
I'm sorry. Yes. Nobody's gonna drown because nobody fumbled.
Nice.
And you can feel the surging. There's that current again. This time it is not pushing you out. It is pulling you in further and further. Everybody who failed their swimming check is going to lose their first turn as they kind of come up sputtering and do their best to get there situated. Wolfgar, you're going to get a turn. Grendel's mother is in front of you, so all of you are kind of coming up out of the water and see that there is another creature like Grendel. You can also see the sword lying against here, and there's some there's probably not like oh yes, I'm sorry.
You can also go to the cog, Dave, and you can adjust your music level for yourself there.
Yeah, I just figured if it was loud for me, it was loud for everybody.
Yeah.
So who? Yeah, go ahead.
But yes, Grendel's mother is right here, and she is going to get a turn on the first turn. So, Wolfgar, what are you doing?
He's gonna make a break for this sword and try and pick it up.
All
Very
right.
good.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
She is going
Check
to
off
try to
giant
intercept
sword.
you, but you're going to get there first. Wolfgar, what is your strength?
My strength is 13.
13. Okay.
He who
So
shuffled the sword from the sand.
You, this sword lying on the ground, you reach down and you start to pick it up, and you can feel this is too heavy for you to wield effectively. This
Son of
is
a bitch.
this would be like trying. It's going to be more like if you imagine, it'd be like trying to whack somebody with a dumbbell or something. It's just so heavy and.
But she was going for it too, right?
She went for you.
Oh, okay.
She went for you.
Okay, well, I'll try and keep her from you guys for a moment.
All right. I'm gonna let you roll. You guys. So, Pendragon is kind of weird in the sense that it all of your stats and skills are assumed to be based on a knight like in full armor with all their gear and that sort of stuff, which is part of why your swimming is so low. So I'm going to let you have your shield so you can roll one of your weapons to try to get your shield bonus. You won't actually be able to hit her. But basically the way in an opposed check, if you at least succeed in combat and you have your shield, you get to add your shield to your armor and therefore not get hit as badly.
Okay.
All right. So.
Oh, fuck. Did you take your armor off, too?
I did say I was going to start stripping it off, but you jumped in the water, so I went after you.
No, I mean, I guess like you said, since it's so low, maybe we have all. No one has metal armor, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No leather.
So I think you can include your full armor rating. So why don't you roll either spear or sword or.
Okay, let's go with spear because I'm better at that.
All right.
You made it.
Okay.
Partial success.
Partial success. So you get to add your shield to your armor. So I think that puts you at 12.
It does.
She is going to jab you with this wicked knife that you can see in her right hand.
So 12.
Gets you for 12. What is your con?
My con is 11.
Good.
Okay. So that's a major wound.
Okay.
So you got seriously jabbed. You're going to check surgery needed, and then you're also going to have to test con to try to stay conscious. Okay.
Yes, you make it.
You're still up. You're still alive.
Okay.
It's going to take more than that to take Wolfgar down.
Nice.
But you know this sword is way too much for you.
Yeah, I don't try to move it
They're
now.
strongest.
Okay.
The strongest here.
I don't
Right
recommend
here, a
using-
new are the
I'm at
strongest,
17.
15.
yeah. Right here.
13.
Let's see. Newell.
Strength?
The singer's pretty strong. Smells on everything.
Yeah, strength is a third stat down, I guess. Newell 17. Okay.
I will enchant her with
But
my
then
singing
you should
voice.
also, I'll let you think about the fact that you're going to be using your sword skill if you pick up this sword.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
no, my
anybody who's
sword
not
skills.
good with the sword.
Who's
Ass.
good with a sword?
Let's grapple this chick. Let's see if the apple falls far.
Yeah.
If we grapple, we're going to throw her down on the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
do that.
get her grappled and then have somebody grab the sword and
Okay.
We're
We'll
just-
All right.
declare
break her
action.
bones.
So everybody declare.
Okay.
I'm
What's
gonna
the what's the rule on calling up inspiration? Is there like a
passions.
You're
yeah,
not
like a,
allowed to use the same passion twice in one session.
Okay. Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
there was like some sort of thing like that. Retreat.
Yeah.
So you could potentially use a different passion?
If you have a different passion that you think would apply.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Yeah,
do.
we have to. Just
What would you say
honor
my
it.
relationship is to Hrothgar, Arlen? Like, so I have loyalty. I don't know that I didn't use.
That's loyalty to your lord, not to Hrothgar, is the problem.
Yep.
Oh, well, then change mine to honor then instead of loyalty.
I think
Here, we'll move Grindel's mother up closer so you guys can all get in.
I'm going to do my passion now. Of course. I failed my passion check.
All right.
does that make sense?
Yeah. So, Alfred, why don't you roll battle for your commanding of the troops now? And then
There you guys
Wolfgar,
are. Yeah, well, it succeeds.
it succeeds. So yes, everybody is going to get a +5 to whatever they do this turn,
Awesome.
and you can all move your
Flank
tokens
her.
up to try to grapple Grindel's mother. Wolfgar, you
Wolf pack tactic formation 3.
I'm assuming I get a -5 because I failed that.
you get a -5 because you failed that. So you're
You
at
don't yell.
net 0 for this round, -5 until the end of the fight after this.
Is
Diamond
that, that's the consequence of
formation.
invoking?
That's the consequence of failing
Yeah.
failing to invoke a passion.
Minus-
And it's actually technically it should be worse, but we're gonna play with the gentle rules because it's no fun to have somebody just go completely melancholic.
Okay,
All right.
grapple.
We can make him go melancholy like after, right? But
Yeah, we can do that later.
Newell is not some. Oh crap!
I guess Alfred's gonna like move closer. I guess you can do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
Assess the
Great.
situation.
All right, Weakstan and Newell, you both get a level of grappling on. She is going to right here. I think because you fumbled, she is going to try to gank you with her knife. She's not resisting the grappling at all. Basically, she's just kind of powering through with a jab.
Yep.
Okay. So I did succeed. Though.
Okay. Yes. So Newell and Weakstan, you both have partial grapples or partially immobilized or whatever I called it. First level. She does stab you right here.
We got her by the legs, and she's just like, whatever.
Yep. Yep. Basically.
Busy.
23 points of
23.
damage
Minus
minus
your
your armor.
Armor, which is 6. So I take 17.
Take 17.
Ow!
And my drowning wounds still remain, right?
Yes.
It leaves me with 10. I have 10 remaining.
All right. But
Still
I'm going to
conscious.
guess that is 17 higher than your con or not?
Oh, good question. My con is 15. Yes, it is.
Okay, so you're also needing chirurgery, and you're going to have to test con to not just go unconscious from that huge hit.
Okay.
Come on.
Yes.
Nice. It's going to take more than that to take down you guys.
It's out of my mouth. Exactly.
All right. All right, next turn.
Does she have that same? Can I assess if she has that same slime? That I don't know. Maybe I'll try to. If she's being held, is there a bonus to like stabbing? I can try with my dagger to see if she's actually invulnerable to weapons too.
Yeah, somebody try and hit her.
I think
We might. Maybe grappling's the wrong idea. Maybe we need to stop this and start smacking her. It would be nice to know.
No, I'll just use my dagger and try, and then, Okay.
All right. And Red here, what you doing?
I am. Oh, it's already. That moved quickly. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to try to grapple.
All right. Everybody who's grappling, roll grapple. Alfhid, you can roll dagger.
Okay, let's see here.
There's no bonus for her being held, right? Or...
No bonus. Well,
Fuck. Fail.
give yourself a +5 bonus to hit.
Oh, okay. I made it either way. So 8
And
out of
Alphild's
12.
battle roll, that doesn't count this time, right?
No battle roll bonus.
Okay, I failed. Nice.
Nope.
We oxten.
No battle royal anymore.
No 5,
No.
no +5.
I mean,
You
I
don't
could.
have
I guess
+5?
if this doesn't work, I could try to keep that battle thing up.
That actually
If
works
that's
then, because I get a crit, because I've only got normally a 3 in grapple.
Awesome.
Only
Oh,
a-
very awesome.
Nice.
That's great.
Didn't you get a crit on that guy last time?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm
You are just the grappling
We oxen
Luchador.
iron
Grendel
arms.
Slayer.
luchador.
it's a
All
shame,
right,
Del.
so she's going to get one more attack with the dagger before Weoxstan is able to completely immobilize her. And I think she's going to go. Alfhid has just tried to stab her, so she's going to stab back.
Okay.
And that is a nat 20. So,
Oh,
Weoxstan, why
fantastic.
don't you roll damage for you get to kind of
Oh,
grapple
that failed?
and
She
increase and roll damage.
Fuck, so he got a crit, she got a crit failure. Fucking have her fall on the sword.
So I get to roll damage?
Yeah,
I
you get to
rolled it.
roll damage.
And then I roll damage as well, or
You do not, Alfred. You connect with the dagger, and it just bounces off her hide.
okay. All right, dagger doesn't. All right, dagger. Well, it's good to know, right? Because that's our
Yeah.
better option.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Was that?
Really good.
All right,
Damn.
one more round like
all,
that.
all bow to the
Oh,
bard.
awesome.
Oh yeah, if I succeed, I can just do damage, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody who is grappling. I don't think we need to declare because we know that she's
so-
vulnerable to.
I succeeded, but am I at the grapple level that lets me do damage? Is that how, are we?
Oh, she just
Yeah,
got pinned.
everybody. She's completely immobilized by Weoxstan, so everybody can do full damage.
Awesome.
Okay, but they
We
need
still have
to,
to
make
roll,
they need to
though.
maintain.
You
They need
do
to
still-
maintain their grapple, right?
Wolfgar's
right?
trying to get her arm so she doesn't stab anybody
So
again.
Alfred is gonna do the battle thing if that's available as an option.
Oh, I made it.
I think the battle thing is only available for one
The first-
round.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna try to pile on and grapple, grab that, attack that wrist with the dagger
Get some
best she
damage.
can. Hey, you never know.
Oh crap! I am so disheartened right now.
No, she fails, but hey,
Oh,
It's a
she's
team
gonna get a
effort.
second. She's getting a second win, guys. She's gonna break free. I failed.
All right.
Well, someone did
so
damage, right?
the only
No.
thing she can do is try to reduce Weoxstan's grapple, and she fails. So you guys can
Okay.
do the same thing again.
But I failed, so I can't do damage, right?
You can't do damage, no, if you fail your grapple check. You're
We both
still
failed.
in the
We're still on the
Nice.
same level.
Succeeded.
nice.
And it's just my normal damage?
Just your normal damage because she's in completely
16 points of
grappled.
damage.
Finish her
All
off!
right.
Suck that.
see.
Lady.
So what
Finish her
what
up.
part were you grabbed onto? Because it's going to be in your hands and unattached from her at this point.
Oh, very nice.
I guess I'm at the leg.
Yeah.
We're playing wishbone with her legs, and you win.
Nice.
Well, if getting a vengeance for my father was my wish, I guess I did get my wish.
Nice.
Grendel's mother is slain.
Nice. Take that,
Her leg
lady.
kind of wrenched and torn pretty much almost entirely completely off by Neowill. You can feel the kind of horrid life force that was animating this creature leave her body.
Does her body shrink as well?
Her body does shrink back down to still larger than a human size, but shrinks down to a smaller.
All
Look at
right.
this sword over
So
We should cut these heads off,
Yeah. Wolfgar slinks over to the corner and just.
or do we take the
Flashes
whole body, or
against
cut
the
the heads
wall.
off?
here. And then Grendel's grandmother, and then her great grandmother, and
go-
eventually we're all gonna die.
I'm gonna do first aid on Raid here and Wolfgar, so they don't
Yeah.
bleed out. Or the
Wolfgar's
promise
looking
of
pretty
Grendel.
dejected. He's looking at the blood on his hand. He's like, this is what honor gets me. And he
Exactly.
spits.
Finally.
I'm gonna try and lift this sword. How strong do you have to be?
All right, Wigstand, why don't you give me a strength test to see if you can lift the sword?
I did not succeed on Wolfgar. Let me try Raid here.
My strength's 15.
I succeed on Raid here.
Somebody crit success on the strength check?
No, I got a 14 out of 15 on the strength.
Yeah, I critted on my strength check.
Okay, so
I have the
Wigstand,
power.
you're starting to
Went
lift
for the
it, and
sword.
Neowil comes over and one-handed holds up the sword, and he's got it. Neowil,
Nice.
what are you going to do with the sword?
I'm bringing it to Hrothgar to hang on his hall.
Chop off their
Or
heads with
what are
it.
you guys doing with the bodies?
Cut the
Come
heads
on,
off with
Yeah,
a
cut the
sword.
heads off. Whack! Whack! We'll bring those
maybe you have
back
to
as
do it
well.
with maybe you have to do those with the sword, because if this is like from the gods.
Oh, yeah, maybe. So I'll try and do that. Can I whack off his mom's head?
Yep, you
Boom.
chop right through.
Mom's
head
head's
is
off, dad's head, or the kid's head's off. We're taking both of those back with us and this sword. And
Do these guys collect, take stuff from Hrothgar too?
Can we look around to see if
is
there's
there-
another way out so we don't have to swim?
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing that happens, Neowil, the sword in your hand, it Grendel's blood, it does something to the blade. It's not destroyed or anything like that, but it's clear that it has done something damaging to this sword blade. It's not going to do anything to you guys if you get it on you, but somehow there's something foul about that. This iron was only barely able to overcome what sort of sorcerous enchantment was on him.
yeah.
Wigstand, you search around. There doesn't seem to be any other way out.
Okay.
I did do a successful first aid on Raid here, FYI.
On me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, without her ill will to keep us, to pull us in or whatever, is the chance to swim out easier now?
She
Well,
pulled us
it
in.
might be.
I thought she pulled us in. Didn't we feel like the water?
She definitely pulled you in.
Yeah.
It is. You don't know. You can't. If you wade down into it, you can't feel a current either direction really.
Okay.
So it's more like a pool.
So just a regular swim check then to get out of here?
Just a regular swim check.
So everybody,
Was there anything else in this cave? Like maybe did Grendel
Crit.
take stuff from Hrothgar?
Crit success on my swim. I'm got that fucking giant sword in my teeth.
Oh, I passed. Yeah, everything's going right.
All right. We'll even say, Neowil, you sword in teeth. If you want to have it be,
Each of the heads in both one hand. Ah.
each of the heads, each in one hand, and you, in fact, lead the way. Let's say you're in your wake. Somehow, the energy of this cave, it spits you all out. You don't need. Nobody will take drowning damage or anything like that from failed swim checks. It'll take you a minute to recover from the rough swim, but you're all going to be okay.
Okay.
Now, are you returning to
They were
Hera?
ambushed by a guy named Beowulf who carries everything back himself.
You bastard.
now there's a dragon. Isn't there a dragon now? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring us. My thought is we bring everything back. If the sword is ruined and whatever else, I don't care. It's Hrothgar's to make a decision as to what he wants to do with it.
Yeah. And there was
Yeah.
nothing else in the cave, right? No.
There's no other treasure, nothing like
nothing.
that.
Okay.
All I came
I didn't-
seeking was vengeance, and we got that.
Yep.
glory, honor.
Excellent. So you march back through the fens, pretty badly beaten up.
Alfred
At least
leads another
three of you.
full battle group.
Hey, Alf. Nice job leading a successful battle group. You get back. It's probably about. It's been basically all night, so the dawn is rising. It's coming up. You come back to Harrod. Neowil, you've got a head in each hand, and
Let's kick the door open.
Kick the door open, set them down in front of Hrothgar's throne, and he looks.
And what I say is, you sold. We offered one monster for you, Lord Hrothgar. We offer two.
And Hrothgar, there's a shout of elation that arises from the benches. Everyone in the town has kind of gathered up into Harrod. Hrothgar announces there will be a feast. He's giving gifts out to everybody. Everybody's going to get new swords, new armor, all sorts of new stuff. Or all of you guys, not everybody in the town, but all of you guys are getting new swords, new armor, money. He's offering up all sorts of riches out. It's another great feast. And this time, no monster.
Can I ask that when he offers that stuff, I seek nothing else. I don't know that my father would have been buried with much honors at that time. Anything I get, I want it like offered up to if he died here, he died in battle, so hopefully he's in Valhalla. All that shit will get burned to go to him, to give him the honors that were due to him.
Of course. Yeah. So everybody, if you're keeping it, you get shining new chainmail that's worth 10 points of armor. You also get, glorious new swords, battle axes, all of that sort of war gear, and treasure, torques of gold and arm rings and things like that. And it's glorious. And as I said, there's a huge feast, tremendous amount of noise. And in the morning, no Grendel has arrived.
Nice.
And Harrod is secure.
Yes.
All right. That is the whole thing. The adventure of Hrothgar's Hall. Hrothgar's Heroes.
Excellent.
Nice.
We are Hrothgar's heroes, yeah.
Yeah. Nice job, guys.
Yep.
Can't believe we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
a good
did
trick.
exactly like you're supposed to, and teamed up, and none of you had great grapple, but between all of you, you can do some serious damage.
So I suppose if a group just waded in with weapons, it would go worse.
Well, every time you attack, if you successfully hit, you don't do any damage.
I see.
And Grendel knows that you don't do any damage, so he doesn't have to resist your attack at all. He can just attack back for free, basically. So he can.
It's an interesting mechanic to see the that it has to split its defenses around too. It's kind of an interesting boss mechanic.
Yep. It's a good. It's definitely designed to punish being outnumbered in a fairly realistic. It's like being outnumbered in real life in the sense that you're in serious trouble.
You can't ignore it. You have to. Well, you can choose to ignore.
You can choose to ignore it.
Yeah.
But then if they hit you, ow, you get no.
Right.
But if they hit you, ow, you don't get your shield bonus, and it's
It does a lot of damage.
nasty.
Yeah.
It's really at the same time. If you're a legendary hero, so to give you some idea, Beowulf's stats. Beowulf is statted out in here, and he
Studded out or statted out?
statted out.
Both.
Beowulf is size 17, so Neil, you're about as big as him. Beowulf is strength 30.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow.
So he does 86 damage as his standard damage
So he
roll.
crits
And he has
50% of the
30
time.
grapple.
He crits
So
50% of the time, right? He crits 50% of the time, that means.
He crits 50% of the time on grapple rolls.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So he's a monster.
Wow.
But you can also imagine how if you are a big damn hero and you have 30 for grapple, you could actually take on two opponents with grappling and get both of them with 15 each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So then he invokes one of his passions and slaughters 5 people.
Then he invokes one of his passions and slaughters more people. Well, and he has chainmail that was forged by Wayland the smith, the smith god in the mythology. So his armor is ridiculously tough. So he's not quite Grendel level invulnerable to bladed weapons, but he's pretty close with super tough chainmail. So Beowulf is a serious badass as statted out. And one of the cool things I think about this system is that there's sort of room for that it actually works for. You can have kind of knights that are real people and then knights that are above
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, like, Lancelot compared to your player starting out young knight.
Yes.
Right.
Although when you get to one of those crazy levels, like if you get a bonus for your traits, so one of the things, if you have really high traits, you can get like a chivalric bonus for being super chivalric, and it's that's the last thing. In addition to Harrod being saved, no more Grendel, the poet Asher's brother will compose an epic of your defeat of Grendel after you tell him the tale.
Germanloff
saved Asher because in the adventure as written, you're supposed to go back to Harrod and there's another night and Grendel's mother comes and she kills Asher. So you saved your buddy.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's take the fight to them. That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I think that is it for me.
Thanks, Arlen.
Get over to you, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks for running it, Arlen. I'm just trying to get this while Anna's being quiet. She's angry at people in the street right now. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this terrific one-shot for Pendragon. Land of Giants is the book, right?
Yeah, Land of Giants.
Yeah. So, I guess first off, again, a big thank you to Arlen for preparing. He made all the characters for us. I mean, it seemed like everyone had a character that was really cool for them for their play style too. So that was really awesome. Thanks for everyone for playing in this as well too. That was a lot of fun. I haven't had a chance to actually try this game yet too. So this was really fun trying to getting this thing to the table. As always, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will ensure that Arlen gets the message. In addition, you can reach me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, and you can reach Arlen at Cows from Powys. That's Arlen. Let you spell that.
COWSFROMPOWYS.
Yes. And I know, sweetie. Someone's not happy with me.
The monster.
I know, it's Grendel.
Grendel.
Grendel's back. All right, sweetie. So distracted by the dog. In addition, you may notice that there's a link in the description of the video to something called, or to our to the Dungeon Musings Discord server. You can find all of us on there as well, and you can ask Arlen any questions you may have with respect to the campaign, or the adventure, I should say. Honey, all right, come on, please. I'm just trying to do my outro. I'm just, jeez.
Keep it together,
skip
Kev.
the more extensive outro. Someone is really agitated. Honey, where's your toy? Where's your toy? Anna, go get your toy. Go get it. Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Go get it.
Hearsay Villages, it's a charity that Kevin runs that we do on the channel, and the rewards are going to get updated very, very soon, so you can donate and get cool stuff. And thanks to the players. That's what we always end on. And thanks to John and Sean and Dave and Kevin and Carl. It was great. I had a ton of fun. I'm really glad you guys could all play.
Thank you to Arlen for making the outro while I'm making my animal handling check.
Failing your animal handling.
Good girl. All right, so great. So then, for those listening at home, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Arlen, for managing the outro while I'm managing Anna. Until next time, folks, thank you again for joining us, and happy gaming.